not only the living trust, but also your power of attorney and healthcare directive, as well as other necessary ancillary documents. If you need more advanced planning, including the use of an irrevocable trust, I will tell you what is the best option for you based on your specific situation. You are spending a fair and reasonable fee today to save your loved ones tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, at the time you pass away. What a special gift for a parent to give to his or her family. During your free consultation, I will show you how to save a lot of money by properly and legally planning your estate. I will show you how to properly and legally reduce or completely eliminate Pennsylvania inheritance taxes due and owing to the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue on certain assets upon your death. And I will show you how to properly and legally eliminate the capital gains taxes that would otherwise be due and owing to the IRS when your real estate is sold following your death. Number one reason why people don't take action. You might be thinking you don't need to plan your estate today because you don't have time and it's too complicated to do it. You're healthy, and so you're just going to wait until you get older or perhaps when you get sick. What if you get COVID or have a bad accident or become incapacitated or develop dementia or Alzheimer's? You guessed it, it will be too late to sign your estate planning documents because you may not be of sound mind. Yes, it may be too late in all of those situations for you to then plan your estate. The law says you can only create a will or a trust when you are 18 years of age or older and of sound mind. And you never know what will happen to you or when it will happen. So I created an easy process to make it pain-free and fast to create the proper estate planning documents for you. Ready to get started? Then call me, Attorney John D'Onofrio, at 412-928-2068 and schedule your free estate planning consultation. Allow me to meet with you in my law office or in the comfort and privacy of your home and provide you with your free consultation. Telephones are answered 24/7. If I am not at the office or if I am with a client, my staff or answering service will send me a text and I will return your call in a timely manner. Thank you for taking your valuable time to listen to me today. I appreciate every listener and I look forward to meeting you at your earliest convenience. For estate planning in uncertain times, I'm Attorney John D'Onofrio. Call me today, 412-928-2068. Schedule your complimentary consultation. Call today. Get peace of mind today. That's 412-928-2068. Thank you, and have a great day.
The preceding program was pre-recorded.
The proceeding was paid for by D'Onofrio Law Office, PC. Information on the program was intended to solely further the public's general knowledge about the product. Opinions expressed should not be relied upon for any purpose by any member of the audience. News Radio KDKA does not guarantee the accuracy of any of the information heard on the preceding program.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Peter King. So far, the White House hasn't commented publicly on the response that Iran says it's made after the latest U.S. proposal to end the war. UN Ambassador Mike Waltz says the war was just about ending Iran's nuclear weapons program.
President Trump has been very clear, not just now, but frankly for decades, even before he was in office, that the world cannot and should not have a genocidal, aggressive regime with its hand on a nuclear button.
But critics contend the war has come at a huge price. California Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu on CBS's Face the Nation.
Any prolonged conflict with China or Russia, the U.S. will run out of defensive munitions. We already started running out of defensive munitions in a war that lasted less than 60 days. And even against a second-rate military like Iran, they struck multiple U.S. bases.
And many Americans are fed up with what the war has done to gas prices. Here's CBS's Wendy Gillette.
AAA says the current national average for a gallon of gas is over $4.50. For a second straight week, prices have increased 25 cents, the highest they've been since 2022.
We're not going out of town in my car anytime soon. If we're going to do anything, we're going to be on a bus, a shuttle, a train, or a plane because the gas prices are so high.
The cruise ship hit by a hantavirus outbreak has been anchored off the coast of Morocco since early morning. Its crew and passengers have been disembarking all day. The BBC's Sarah Rainsford is on Tenerife Island.
The operation to bring passengers off the Honduras cruise liner is now well underway. We've seen the first two small boats carrying, we believe, Spanish nationals to shore. They were sitting inside wearing blue protective clothing and face masks. They were all socially distanced on that boat. Each one of them was carrying a small carrier bag with a few personal belongings. That's all they've been allowed to bring off the Honduras.
Officials say 17 Americans will be the last to disembark today. The World Health Organization says the passengers are asymptomatic. But local residents are still concerned. WHO Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus.
The risk is low, so they shouldn't worry.
More than 100 passengers and crew are reported sick with norovirus aboard the Caribbean Princess cruise ship due to dock at Port Canaveral tomorrow. CDC says the cruise line has followed all the correct protocols to treat passengers and crew and to sanitize the ship, which has been on a 13-day cruise. More cleaning is planned after the ship docks in Florida tomorrow. This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Mornings.
This is a slam dunk.
So cute.
Gail came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong?
I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code MULTIPLY to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code MULTIPLY to borrow up to $10,000. Use code MULTIPLY to borrow up to $10,000.
Florida's Attorney General says an Orlando man has been arrested for swindling an investor out of $1 million for a non-existent land development deal, then using the money for personal stuff. He was arrested during a vacation in Hawaii. On this Mother's Day, CBS's Stacey Lynn has asked a few kids in Maryland about their moms.
She's like a friend, but someone who always stay by you. Well, she's nice, she's funny, she's very kind.
What types of things do moms do the very best?
Taking care of us and doing like house chores and stuff. Sweeps and folds your laundry and puts them in the dryer.
Did you get your mom a present for Mother's Day?
This is what my mom always says. I asked her, what would you like? And she never says anything buying from a store that costs anything. She likes hugs and kisses.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
And I'm Peter King, CBS News.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
For the rest of this Mother's Day afternoon, clouds with breaks of sun, high of 64 degrees. And for tonight, becoming mostly cloudy, low 41. Tomorrow, partly sunny. Cool for May, a high of just 61 degrees. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Matt Buns, 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
And now...
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle
scandal.
Lenny McAllister.
The way we bring back America and bring people together is by making sure we hold everybody accountable in a 360 fashion.
Yes, there is a change that we can believe in, but it will never come from a politician or a government program.
Lenny McAllister. Well spoken.
We got to move away from the American Idol soundbite nature of politics back to the American statesman of humble servant leadership that we used to see in politics.
If we get some common sense governance from both sides of the aisle, we can finally get Americans through the recession, not just Wall Street.
Principles of politics. I'd rather have principles.
I speak to the kids in the street. Well, I'm never going to lay down being a conservative just as much as I'll never lay down being a proud African American.
I feel like a black Republican. Money I got coming in. Can't turn my back on the hood. I got love for them.
Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. It's not sunny. It's not really warm, but it's still Mother's Day. It's still 2026, and this is still the one, the only, the Marconi Award-winning news radio, KDKA, Lenny McAllister. You and I together for the next 4 hours. A special Mother's Day for me, and I will get into that a little later on. Phone lines will be open, 866-391-1020. Don't try it right now because they ain't open right now. I said they will be open. That's future tense. Now, they are open, which is present tense. Now, I feel like I have to guide you all on this because I love you, and I don't want to lead you astray. So the phone lines will be open. They are not open. Capiche? Capiche. Que bueno. That said, one, to all the lovely women out there that are mothers, happy Mother's Day. Now, I am going to go ahead and go after this for some of you all out there. I know that there are people out there that feel like Mother's Day requires you to have gotten kicked from the inside out for months at a time and then go through one of the most painful experiences you could ever imagine, and then that makes you a mother. That's part of it. I mean, obviously, that's a big deal if, biological mom. But there are bonus mothers out there. There are blended families out there. There are plenty of mothers that assumed the role of motherhood that didn't go through getting kicked from the inside out, didn't go through somebody sitting on their bladder for the last 3 months and then kicking and tap dancing on internal organs, which is a thing. I get that. I'll never experience it, but I know half the population is, eligible to experience that. For you moms out there that didn't go through that, but you are mom, happy Mother's Day to you as well. Ignore the noise. Ignore what people are saying to you. For those of you that are moms that for one reason or another will not get a chance to see your children today. That could be because your kids are 35 years old and they live in Guam. That could be because you have a blended family and this year they're not with you, last year they were. Whatever the case may be, understand that you are seen on this Mother's Day as well. Happy Mother's Day to you. And let me say to the ladies out there as well, and let me say to people in general, not just the moms out there, Mother's Day is more than just buying some flowers and getting a card. Mother's Day is the culmination of 365.25 days a year in 366 every fourth year because we round up that 0.25. I digress. You know what I'm saying. It's the culmination of every single day of individuals around the world loving on you, sacrificing for you, believing in you, having vision about where you're going in your life before you can. Whether that's when you were 2 years old or 5 years old or 12 years old or 16 years old or 25 years old. Moms have a special type of love. I will not say that it's more than dad's love, even though I think Hallmark and the rest of the world says it is. I won't fight with them today because it's Mother's Day. I'll fight with them on Father's Day. That's coming up eventually. Of course, nobody cares about Father's Day, but I won't complain about being a dad and being overlooked and the love we don't get and how we don't even get good gifts anymore or phone calls. I'm just kidding, everybody. You know that. Moms have a special type of love that is to be celebrated all the time, but particularly on a day like today. And I advise all of you to use Mother's Day not as a day to get those flowers and get those cards, or, for some of you, I know that over at Y108, they have the Miss You Mom celebration that Kale and Amanda had again yesterday. And in fact, I had Amanda on my airwaves this time last year talking about that for people that don't have their moms with them. My mother is enjoying her heavenly reward as well. Mother's Day can also be that type of day where you're sitting there and being reflective. There are no flowers to buy for a human being to go over her home and share them with her on that day. Doesn't mean you can't reflect. Doesn't mean you don't say thank you. It doesn't mean that the day is any less special. Because mom, regardless of who the moms are special individuals, are loving individuals, and they fit into a very special niche in our lives. So first and foremost, I want to make sure all the moms that deserve to get that love, get that love. Number two, I'm asking everybody to expand how and why they love on mom and what Mother's Day should be today. I know that I try to start my show out with something positive, and I am today. I know there's plenty of stuff to talk about politically at 866-391-1020. We will get to it. I know that there was a second Friday after a really early first Friday. Ergo, there are job report numbers, so it's a laptop Sunday for me, and I will go into those numbers. And I will even dig into a special bonus assignment that I had for myself that I did. So I'll go into that eventually. I know about the Voting Rights Act, and I know what's going on in the South. I talked about this on the Big K Morning Show on Monday. I will talk about it again. And, just to preview it, I know that they said you can't do it on race, which is why they struck down the map in Virginia. Both the Virginia Supreme Court, but also the federal Supreme Court going after these laws. I will also tell you that if you're striking it down for one special interest group, you got to strike it down for all special interest groups, including the Democrats and Republicans. Those are special interest groups. Get rid of gerrymandering overall. Make 435 people in the House compete. Make people in state House districts and state Senate districts actually compete, not draw out their maps and know that they're going to win every 2 to 4 years. But I'll get to that later. I want to make sure that I celebrate this Mother's Day celebrating all the special women out there. And for me, after the break, I'm going to do a very special interview because, one, it's special to me. This is a very special Mother's Day. Number two, you all have heard me talk about, this individual over the years. And now, there's a book, A Venn Diagram of One, An American Story, which, again, is available for pre-order online. Go to the website, lennymcallister.com. You can find more information there. You can go to Barnes & Noble and pre-order the book already. This person's in the book, quite naturally. So it's one thing to hear about somebody talk about an individual or hear about their story. It's much different when you experience it in real life, in human form, in 3 dimensions. And for me on this Mother's Day, I get an opportunity to do that with an amazing woman, black girl magic in the flesh, that did something magical on Mother's Day weekend. And I want to make sure I talk about it. And yes, it's a little bit of a gift to my future grandchildren and great-grandchildren. But once you hear the story and read the story in A Venn Diagram of One, you'll see that it truly is an American story. It truly is a gift for everybody. And it's a reminder that God is real, that second acts are real, and that faith in oneself, faith in God, and I would dare even say faith that the American dream can be viable in our individual lives, faith in that as well that through those 3 acts of faith, you can have the works to get to that next station, that next act, that next accomplishment in life. So I'm going to go to that after the break. Then I shall open up the phone lines at 866-391-1020. But that said, we're going to break now, and I'm going to do something very black girl magical, if you will. But magical for everybody. I'm sorry, I'm an African-American man. I'm going to celebrate black women, especially this black woman. But this is about a Mother's Day story, an American story. This is a little bit of an example for all of us. But I'm going to do that when I come back here on News Radio, KDKA.
When you need to talk, we're here for you. Always have been. News Radio KDKA.
Pittsburgh's very own board-certified and licensed hypnotherapist Dan Vitchoff of the PA Hypnosis Center is here to help you. He has helped train U.S. Olympic team members control their brains, stay relaxed, focused, and in control, giving them the edge for the gold. He's recognized by many organizations around the world as one of the top hypnotherapists anywhere. He has gotten over 3,000 people to give up cigarettes for good in the last 22 years. He's helped folks even who've tried gastric bypass to lose weight. He can help you and give you a 98% success guarantee. Call 724-934-8446. That's Dan Vitchoff, the PA Hypnosis Center. Mention KDKA and get $50 off any program. But call for a free consultation today, 724-934-8446. The PA Hypnosis Center with Dan Vitchoff. Make that call today, 724-934-8446.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
Miss Fernandez, what are those tiny things?
Those are what we call amoebas. You can only see them through a microscope.
Wow.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, there's a funding crisis in public schools. Millions of kids go to schools that don't have funding for books, computers, and so much more just because of where they live. You can help change that. Donors Choose is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. You choose which supplies to support. You could provide first graders with pencils and paper, or other students with their first chapter books, help a music class get a guitar.
You could even supply a classroom like mine with a science project. But what you're really giving is the moment that sparks a brighter tomorrow.
To learn more, please visit DonorsChoose.org. That's DonorsChoose.org. Choose students. Shape the future.
Chuck McDowell here with Red Pocket Mobile. How long have you been stuck with the same phone plan? 2 years? 5? 10? Are you tired of surprise fees and confusing bills? Switch to Red Pocket Mobile. With Red Pocket Mobile, premium 5G plans start at just $10 a month. Pick a plan, lock in your rate, and that's the number you'll see on your bill every month. No hidden fees and no long-term contracts. And here's the kicker. Red Pocket lets you choose from 3 major 5G networks, not just one. Pick the network that actually works where you live and where you work. Try one, and if you like it, keep it. If not, switch to another. Never be stuck with a single network again. Plus, keep your phone, keep your number. Red Pocket Mobile, your new ultimate cell carrier.
New customers can switch and save 50%. Choose from all 3 major 5G networks with one locked-in low price and no contracts at redpocket.com. redpocket.com.
My name is Ariel. When I arrived in the U.S. at 19, I struggled to find job opportunities without my high school diploma. My entire life changed when I took a chance and got my high school diploma at age 22. Everything I have, my education, my career, my marriage, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and my teachers. They were with me every step of the way, helping with my English and math, making sure I push through all the challenges.
Ariel, your success proves that what I'm doing as a teacher has real meaning.
It was an honor helping you achieve your greatness. Now you're helping others achieve theirs. It inspires me.
Education was the key that unlocked all my opportunities.
When you graduate, they graduate. Find free and supportive adult education centers near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at kennyross.com.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Now, it's awful ironic that the PSA that played right before this segment talks about earning a diploma. Because I'm here to talk to my lovely wife, my better half, Lainey McAllister, who just earned her degree and did it in style as a magna cum laude graduate and a Mendelian Award winner for excellence in biology this past year. I would say welcome to the show, but you're with me on every single show because you listen in and you're in my heart. So I guess welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Let me ask you this question, my love. It's 24 hours after you've accomplished this thing, and you've gone from many, many challenges to honors convocation last month and graduating yesterday. Mm-hmm. This time last year, something you wanted to do since you were 19 years old, studying the Galapagos Islands, you were doing this time last year. For all the people that are looking at second acts and saying to themselves, I don't know if I can do it, you sit here as somebody that did it. What's going through your mind right now?
You know, the last 24 hours have been amazing. It has been a whirlwind. I would have never thought that I would end up getting my biology degree, let alone, becoming a Mendelian biology scholar, awardee, or, graduating magna cum laude. That was not, my desire was to just get my biology degree. I did not expect to win awards, travel to the Galapagos Islands, or even, just be able to achieve what I've achieved with, with the highest of honors.
Yeah, and you had an opportunity to do it despite a lot of the noise. Because a lot of people, you're in the book, so people know how old you are. You do, look, I keep telling y'all, good black don't crack. So she's 53, I promise you. I know what it says on her license. She looks 35. And I'm sorry, you fine. So I get to say that on the air. I've been saying it, I'm just going to say it. Didn't mean to embarrass you, but I do that all the time, every day. It's no big deal. That said, though, as the clock was going, I was there. I know the criticism was louder. She's not going to really get through. Do you really think she's going to get through? What do you tell people that are trying to do something that is, because what you've done is extraordinary after everything you've overcome. What do you tell people that are trying to do something extraordinary, even in an echo chamber full of people that are telling you that you just can't do it?
I know it's easier said than done, but you really have to put just one foot in front of the other. You have to remember all the good things that are happening around you, even though you have this, somewhat like an echo chamber of people telling you, oh, I can't believe that you're really in school. And, are you really a biology major? Even though you may have people saying all kinds of negative things, you have to insulate yourself with those people that really want you to achieve and excel. And just remember why you started the journey. That's the first thing. You have to remember why you started a journey, insulate yourself with people who really care and love and support you, and just not listen to those people that are negative.
You've gone through two different sets of challenges. Now, I've talked about the domestic violence that you overcame before we got together, and we've been married for going on 24 years. You know, it's a quarter of a century. I've known you since 1991. I know your story. But I want to talk a little bit about the other part of challenges first, the other aspect of challenges. People don't realize that at one point in time, you were working overnights, 3 to 4 nights a week, overnights, in an ICU environment, while also going to school and taking labs as a wife and a mother of a certain age, African-American, in a place that is not exactly particularly kind to African-American women, and you got A after A after A. Talk a little bit about what it was like going through those challenges, because there are people that are saying, I would do it too, but it's just so hard to work and have kids and everything else. You lived that life. I watched you live that life. Talk a little bit about what it was like stepping through that step by step to keep your eyes on the prize.
Well, in the beginning, it was really rough. Not that it got any better towards the end, but I actually understood what I needed to do in order to get through. But, you have to come to the realization that there is not going to be a time where there's going to be a work, school, family balance. It's not going to be balanced. So you have to figure out, how am I going to be present for school? I have to be present for school, present when I'm at work, and present for my family. You have to figure out how to do those things. And I was able to maneuver it. It wasn't easy. There were times that, for instance, one of the most recent incidents was when one of my sons ended up with strep throat. I'm in the middle of a lecture, and I get a call saying, oh, your son was just diagnosed with strep throat. His test is positive.
I remember.
You need to go pick up your kid from school. So I had to leave a lecture. And, when I left the lecture, I still was responsible for all the information that was covered in the lecture because it was going to be on an exam within the next week. But with all of that said, you have to figure out what system works for you and remember what your end goal is. And, for me, the end goal was graduating, and I wanted to graduate with honors. I'm very hard on myself, so I knew I wanted to graduate with honors, so I had to figure out a pattern to be able to do all of my schoolwork as well as be present for my kids, for my husband, you. And
I better be better at it than me.
Yes.
Or else this interview gets cut off real fast, sister. I'm just saying.
I know. Exactly. But, I had to figure out a way to have a balance and be able to do all those things and achieve in school as well.
When we come back, I want to talk to you about overcoming odds while not staring at the odds or buying into the odds. Because you and I had a conversation about what the odds look like for what you have done once you did it. So I'm talking to my lovely wife, Lainey McAllister, one of the awardees of the Mendelian Award for Excellence in Biology as a magna cum laude graduate of Carlow University, class of 2026, when we come back after the news here on News Radio, KDKA.
Raise Pennsylvania's minimum wage to $15 an hour? Think again, says a researcher at the Allegheny Institute for Public Policy. At best, the increase represents an unnecessary price floor that will benefit some workers at the expense of others and impose higher costs on some businesses at the expense of others. At worst, it'll raise prices and likely displace entry-level workers. To learn more about this and other topics, visit AlleghenyInstitute.org. That's AlleghenyInstitute.org.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over
200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
CBS News Brief. Iran says it's responded to President Trump's latest proposal to end the war. So far, no details from either side. Arizona Democratic Senator Mark Kelly tells CBS's Face the Nation it's been a needless war.
What are the American people getting out of this? I mean, this president said he wasn't going to start any new wars. He was going to bring down costs. He's done exactly the opposite. War against Iran, costs on everything are up.
Passengers are leaving the ship hit by a hantavirus outbreak, now anchored at Tenerife Island. Through an interpreter, Spain's health minister says there is no danger to the public.
People are disembarking the ship with safety, and we are sure that there's not going to be any contact with local population, and everything is very safe.
At the Vatican, Pope Leo has thanked the people of the Canary Islands for helping those cruise ship passengers. CBS News Brief. I'm Peter King.
Did you know that La China Drapery and Blind Factory has their own factory, fabric warehouse, and showroom right here in Pittsburgh? La China doesn't just sell their beautiful custom products, they make them. From exquisite fabrics to custom draperies to blinds, shades, shutters, and upholstery, you get La China's expertise from start to finish. Visit La China's showrooms in Dormont and Wexford. Call 412-665-4900 to book a free La China shop-at-home visit or book online at lachinadrapery.com.
Hi, Paul Alexander here to let you know the KDKA has planned a fabulous 5-day Arizona getaway this September, and it's filling up fast. My wife, Shelley, and I want you to join us for an unforgettable trip based in beautiful Flagstaff, a relaxed mountain town that makes the perfect home base. From there, we'll explore the incredible red rocks of Sedona, travel by rail to the breathtaking Grand Canyon, a bucket list spot that everyone needs to see at least once. And then we'll take in the stunning scenery around Lake Powell with its deep blue water and wide open views. It's the perfect mix of sightseeing, natural beauty, and plenty of time to just enjoy where we are. And September is truly the sweet spot. Comfortable weather, no summer crowds, and everything planned for you. No guessing, no stress. Just show up and enjoy Arizona. Space is limited. Seats are disappearing quickly. Visit travelwithkdk.com or call 800-383-3131. Again, travel with KDK.com or call 800-383-3131. Can't wait to see you there.
Colin Dunlap on KDKA.
I look at these restaurant closings and I go, okay, did the American consumer not think this bubble was going to burst? Yeah, stuff costs more. Yeah, gas costs more. Yeah, it's all passed on to you. And at some point you go, I really can't go out to eat as much. And then bang, the restaurant closes. But wasn't the problem that we had way too many to begin with?
Weekdays 2 to 6 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Clouds with breaks of sun for the rest of this Mother's Day afternoon with a high of 64. Then for tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 41. Partly sunny tomorrow on the cool side with a high of 61 for the afternoon. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Matt Benz, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, we'll be back Monday. Yes, enjoy the weekend. I'll catch you Monday, 2 to 6. Can't wait to talk. Colin Dunlap, KDKA.
Talking to my lovely wife, who I'm very, very proud of, class of 2026, on this Mother's Day, Lainey McAllister. So, I almost called you your nickname, but I'm gonna try to call you Lainey. I'm gonna be formal today and not call you by your nickname.
I appreciate
But it might still slip. That said, you and I did this exercise. We did this exercise about a month ago where I just threw in the AI. I said, what are the odds of an individual overcoming and going back to school and getting a STEM degree at 53 years old? And it gave me pretty astronomical odds, saying this is really impressive. And then I just started compounding it. I said, okay, make the person a woman. Make the person a 53-year-old woman. Make the person a 53-year-old African-American woman. And then I added, the challenges that you've overcome in your childhood, teenage years, early 20s, and dropping out and having to drop out because of, people know about your domestic violence, survival, talking about that. And then I threw all those other layers on there and said, what are the odds now of this individual graduating? And the first thing AI came back with, you should be proud. And then I threw the GPA in there. Then I threw the awards in there. And AI literally said, I can't compute these. You know this as well as I do. You should be very proud. But how do you feel knowing that you're doing something that is, in many regards, just not typical, but you're living it? So it's one thing to objectively see the odds and be like, that's really cool. And then you're like, okay, well, crap, I still got to do this lab, and it's due at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 2:30, and I'm tired, and I'm hungry, and I'm sore, and I want to go to sleep. What was that juggle, knowing you're doing something that's groundbreaking, but at the same exact time knowing that it's still me doing this, and I still have to actually put the work in?
Well, the first thing that came to mind when you started talking about this just now was that at one point in my educational journey, I was told that I was academically ineligible to return to a school.
I was there for that, too.
You were there for that. So starting with that, once I was told that, I felt like, wow, maybe I'm not smart enough to be a biology major, and definitely not smart enough to graduate from a university or college. So going back to school was a rough transition for me, because starting with the being told that I was academically ineligible and then deciding to go back to school, I had to overcome the fear that, well, maybe I'm not going to be able to do this coursework. Even if it's not biology or biological studies that I'm, doing, maybe I'm not good enough for this. Maybe I'm not equipped. So it took that first class that I took that was not biology related that helped me see, oh, you are able to learn. You can retain this information, and you can test on it and make an A.
And I remember, so what people don't know, even many of our family members, is the fact that you were an IT major at one point in time.
Exactly.
That you had to literally take the next transition to, well, I've always loved biology. I was a little girl playing Operation with the board game when I was 3 and 4 years old. I've always wanted to be a biologist and do this level of science. And you had to take a leap of faith in yourself and overcome that self-doubt that you brought up to go from, let me take what is the safe route for me, to let me do something daring, which is really chasing the dream I've always had ever since I was a little girl. Talk a little bit about that journey in regards to overcoming self-doubt, because a lot of people that are looking to do their second act are going to look at your story and say, I need to have the ability to overcome my self-doubt the way Lainey McAllister overcame her self-doubt. And going from an IT major to biology, which not only was a harder major, but also lengthened the time that it was going to take for you to graduate, which is another consideration as a second act student. You overcame all of that. What was that journey like?
It was scary for me in the beginning. So once I decided that I wanted to go back to school, or transition from being an IT major into actually gaining my BS in biology, I looked at CCAC as an option. And what I ended up doing was enrolling in my first biology course, general bio course, because my credits from my previous school were too old. So I enrolled in that course, very nervous, very scared, thinking, okay, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to complete this class, I don't even know if I'm capable of taking the test in the classroom, But I took that class, and I had a wonderful professor who had already been to Galapagos, had traveled, had done all types of research. And I was like, wow, I can do this. And she made me feel like I could do it. And I did it. I made A's in the class. I did well in lab. And I ended up taking the second bio course at CCAC. And from there, I took AMP. And, I was like, I can really do this. I can actually do
All right,
this.
so hold up. For all the history majors out there, what does AMP stand for?
Oh, I'm sorry. Anatomy and physiology. So I took parts 1 and 2 there.
If you all only understood how many times I've had to ask these type of questions to her, you would understand that she's a saint in addition to being an award winner in biology. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But in the middle of taking it, so I was able to overcome the fear and, and the somewhat imposter syndrome that seems to, come along with being scared and to go back to college. And the pandemic hits.
Yes.
So we have to transition from being in a classroom to being online, which was a whole nother just set of things I had to, figure out how to navigate, which I was able to overcome. And then I had to figure out a way from there, because as a biology major, a lot of the courses that are offered during the day. So I had to figure out a way to be able to go to classes during the day and as well as work a full-time job. And that's when working overnights on the weekend came in. I was literally working 3 12-hour shifts on the weekend and going to classes full-time during the week. And it seems like it would be, it's something that's doable in theory, but when you think about the labs that you have to take and this is real science, the information that you have to retain, it's a lot. I wasn't able to do homework on the weekends like I really needed
because
to do.
you're in an ICU where there are people that are they're on the line of life or death sometimes.
Exactly.
So you have to do your job. It's not just you're kind of sitting in a corner someplace at a hospital. You're literally, part of what you're doing is you're helping the staff monitor people that are going through multiple situations. And I mean, again, I'm married to you. You're looking at 1 or 2 patients right across from your desk that is in your purview as well.
Right.
So it's not like you could sit there and study for 12 hours overnight quietly because you're watching something that's benign.
Right, because there were times that, all hands on deck. Everyone needs to help out in some capacity, whether it be just making sure that the family members that are there are taken care of or going to get supplies. There was never a huge block of time where I could study on the weekends. So I was always trying to figure out, how do I get time to study? How do I figure out family time? And, you need sleep. At some point you have to sleep. So it was rough navigating all of that.
But I got to ask you this before we go to commercial break, because I saw it and I told you it was one of the most beautiful things that I got a chance to experience. And I mean that. I saw that love that you've had for science since you were a little girl come out in this 40-year-old woman. And it keep growing and growing and growing. Because honestly, you could have done all this work and got aggravated and said, why am I doing this? I don't even like this stuff anymore. I don't even know why I'm going back to school at 50, 51, 52 years old. Instead, I saw this love for what you were doing just continuously grow. Talk about how going through a second act allows you to reclaim that lost love. Because people don't realize that about going through a second act, that you could discover, this is why I've always loved this. This is truly who I am. I mean, you graduating as an IT major would have been one thing. I'd have been proud of you. But graduating as a biology major and then excelling the way you wanted to excel, that is who Lainey is. And I got to see that reemerge in real time. Talk about what that was like, being that person through that reemergence.
I had to remind myself throughout the journey to enjoy the journey. And you're right. I've always loved science. And, I could have stuck with the IT major and, if I were just purely in it for money and just wanting to get a degree so I can make more money in the field.
And just simply get out of school as fast as you can.
Just get out of school as fast as I could just so I can make money.
We won't say which part of this couple did that, but we digress. Go ahead.
But, you know, even when I was not in school, I was always reading journals.
Yes.
I was always studying
Yes, you were.
some type of research, something, you know.
And let me before we go to break, I want to talk about that because you were doing that before you went back to school. You were doing that in your 30s when our kids were younger. You were doing that when we were moving from North Carolina to the south side of Chicago and then coming here to Pittsburgh. You were still being a scientist without being in school. And so you were able to envision that second act before you actually stepped back on a campus, which I think was fascinating to see.
Yes, I was absolutely able to envision it. Beyond the fear, I was able to envision myself being in the classroom, being able to accomplish what I had set out to accomplish. That young lady who graduated from high school, who had her future in front of her, I had envisioned myself moving on and accomplishing, getting that biology degree.
Let's go to commercial break. I listen, like I told you all, the reason why I wanted to do this is I live this. This is my life. But when it's your life and there's something amazing and magical and inspiring as part of it, it doesn't resonate quite the same way because it's like, well, it's just my life. Well, as you're hearing, I'm married to a very special woman, and I want to continue to have this conversation because I think you have a story that will inspire many, many people out there, including the mothers that are looking for second acts on Mother's Day, including the young girls that may have stubbed their toe in life like you did. For them to be able to see that they can do it, I think is magical and amazing, and is something they need to hear more of. So hang on to your thoughts. Again, Lenny McAllister speaking to the better half of the McAllisters, Lenny McAllister, here on News Radio KDKA.
When the weather turns bad, turn to us for the best news, weather, and traffic information from the KDKA Radio Storm Center. Presented by Duquesne Light Company. Larger than light. Online and on the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Hey folks, my friends at NASCO Roofing take pride in exceeding customer expectations. Scott from Aspinwall was amazed at NASCO's quality, honesty, work ethic, and superior craftsmanship. Scott loved working with NASCO and appreciated that NASCO doesn't use high-pressure sales tactics like other companies. NASCO has satisfied thousands like Scott. Get NASCO on your roof. Call NASCO Roofing, 412-373-2000, 412-373-2000. Most jobs done in a day. Special financing available. NASCO Roofing, NASCO.
Ready to start thinking like Wall Street without leaving Main Street? Tune in Sunday mornings at 6:30 for a slice of advice with Kelton Burgess. Right here on the voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM at AM 1020, KDKA.
Magnificent May savings at Coons Market. Isn't that right, Frank Dentisi?
Right, Rob. In our meat department, bone-in, center-cut pork loin chops or roast are $2.99 a pound. In the produce department, all-purpose Idaho potatoes, 8-pound bags, $2.99 each. In our deli, lower sodium Silver Star boneless hams are $7.99 a pound. And additional savings this week, selected varieties of Pepsi or Mountain Dew, 12-pack, 12-ounce cans, $6.99 each.
At Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
When you get a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, things get real.
And nobody understands that better than the Parkinson's Foundation. All across the country, we provide resources and support in the fight against Parkinson's, a neurological disease that affects movement.
The Parkinson's Foundation is dedicated to improving care and advancing research towards a cure.
And when you call our helpline, you'll speak to a real person who can help you find the right information. Because while living with Parkinson's can be challenging, there are things you can do to improve your quality of life. So, whether you're newly diagnosed, have been living with Parkinson's for years, or caring for a loved one,
when Parkinson's gets real, find real answers at the Parkinson's Foundation.
Go to parkinson.org or call our helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO, 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
SchultzFord.com, 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 SchultzFord.com.
All right, talking to a Mendelian Award winner for excellence in biology that I just so happen to be married to, Lenny McAllister, here on News Radio KDKA on Mother's Day. what's the significance of a African-American mother who accomplishes her lifetime goal of getting this biology degree with this level of academic success, with her kids being there and her granddaughter, specifically granddaughter, being able to watch this? What went through your mind yesterday thinking about this is Mother's Day weekend? I was told that I was too old, it's too late for me to do this, and I'm doing this as a wife, a mother, and a grandmother with honors.
You know, one of the things that came to mind yesterday was that, sure, you've made mistakes and you have not been perfect, but you were able to get up and just continue on. Even after every mistake, you were able, that was, you know, each mistake that I made prior to going back to school, all those mistakes have made me stronger. I consider myself a resilient person. No matter, we've had so many obstacles that have come our way. One of the major obstacles that I can think of that almost made me think that maybe I shouldn't be doing this was that when I first started working overnight during the training period, I had registered for classes. It was going to be my first semester taking biology classes during the day. And I was told that I was not going to be working at night, that I would have a daytime schedule. And I was just completely sunk at that point. I was like, oh, I don't even know what I'm going to do. But I literally had to cancel all my classes and go to my advisor and let them know that I can't get away from working, that I will have to work during the day, and maybe I can take these classes in the fall. At that point, I thought, well, maybe maybe this isn't for me. Maybe it's too much of a strain on the family, especially with me needing to work. And it's going to be 2 semesters before I can go back to school. Am I actually going to be able to go back to school? And I said, yes. I made a commitment to myself to start studying. Even though I didn't have the classes, I wasn't going to be in the classroom. I started studying, and I was prepared to go back to school in the fall and take those classes. And, of course, the rest is history because, I ended up making A's. I literally had straight A's for most of the time that I was in school.
You had straight A's until literally the next last semester. It was one course.
Yes.
That knocked you off. And even with this last semester, it was one course that knocked you off. A course that you still did better than 90 to 95% of the people in the course. And knocking you off was not a D. Knocking you off was a B. I mean, look, the bottom line is I get to brag just for a second, but this is also objectively talking about the power of second acts. You finished with a grade point average in biology of 3.88. So basically, it was one course that was challenging for everybody that got you at a B, C plus level that brought that GPA down just enough, which I know the competitive aspect of you. That doesn't make you very happy.
No, it does not make me very happy. And, but one of the things that made me feel better about it was I had to look up the stats on the course myself and find out that there's probably like a 50 to 60% failure rate for that class. So I feel a little better about it.
And so let's put this in context. For 20-year-olds,
exactly,
it's a 50 to 60% failure rate.
Right.
And it kind of goes back to how we started the half an hour. When you add all the other layers to it, the age, the dropping out, the going back, wife, mom, working, that failure rate, generally speaking, has to be much higher. But again, the flip side of that is when you look at that, there has to be a certain level of just kind of being able to now turn around. You're not supposed to drive forward by looking in your rearview mirror. I get that. But the car stopped now. Graduation was yesterday. You can literally put the car in park and actually look behind you. Now that you do that, what does that view look like considering that GPA is that GPA? That award is that award. And after the top of the hour, we're going to talk about 2 other things, including going to South America. As we close out the half an hour, and you're not going to be here the whole time. She's not going to be here the whole time, even though I could do this until 6, but I promise you I won't, because I know you want to complain about Donald Trump and everybody else. That said, as you look behind you, what goes through your mind now when you think about having to go an extra semester, an extra 2 semesters? Can I get through this school? Reclaiming the love, reclaiming the science, understanding the pure aspect of the fact that you were still able to retain all this information with all this other stuff going on. Just the fact that you talk this language. When we sit down and have dinner, this is what you talk about. And you do it with such a joy and a love and a just fascination for the subject that, I mean, you know, I've told people on these airwaves, the only ground rule I have is don't ask me to explain what you're telling me. If you just want an audience, I'm there because I love you and I support you. But the fact that you can do it, when you look back on it, just what do you think now?
That when I reflect on it, I realize that the journey was absolutely worth it. All of the nights of staying up to 3 a.m., being scared to take an exam and going in and still acing it, just working overnights in an ICU and being very, very tired, all those things were worth it. Because I have accomplished my goal. I wanted to get a biology degree. And not only did I just get, I didn't just get a biology degree, but I did it in style and I did it with honors.
And you did it in the way that you wanted to do it, which was as best as possible.
Exactly.
Coming back after the news, I'm going to ask you about reclaiming a dream when it's deferred and deferred and deferred, as well as going from being on one side of a life-changing trip to the other side of it. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to continue this conversation because I think it's important for people that are trying to reclaim a second act, and I think it's extremely important to hear a mother talk about it this Mother's Day, especially with the fascinating story that my lovely wife has. So stick around. I'm going to talk to her a little while longer. Then I will open up the phone lines, I promise. But I'm going to talk to my lovely wife after we come back from the news on News Radio KDKA.
While you sleep, there are people you've never met who are working hard to make your morning. People who get up at ungodly hours to make sure you get the information you want. People who dedicate their lives to make yours better while you sleep. These people come together during the Big K Morning Show with Larry Richert, 5:30 to 10 in the morning, to make sure you have the best news, traffic, and weather to start your day. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for mom.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-507-9701. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-507-9701. That's 800-507-9701. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA. Covered by JP Roofing and Siding. Pittsburgh's #1 platinum roofing company. Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Peter King. Iran says it's responded to President Trump's latest proposal for ending the war, but so far there are no details from either side. Energy Secretary Chris Wright tells CBS's Face the Nation the process appears to be working.
We did stop Project Freedom at Iran's request. They said, wait a minute, let's make a deal. Let's make a deal. We'll agree to reopen it. Let's engage in the talks about the nuclear program, and let's make a deal. So this pausing of that military effort to open the straits is to get a negotiated settlement with Iran.
There is a ceasefire, but weapons fire, possibly an Iranian drone, has hit a British ship off the coast of Qatar, reporter Dale Gavlak in Amman, Jordan.
Vessels in the area have been advised to transit with caution. The incident comes as tensions remain high in the Gulf between the U.S. and Iran amid a tenuous ceasefire.
The closure of the Strait of Hormuz is making it tough for aid groups like Save the Children to provide help to Sudan, which is in the middle of a humanitarian crisis. President and CEO Janti Soripto is just back from there. She appeared on Face the Nation.
We have currently about 500,000 stock still stuck in Dubai that we can't get out. Medicine, drugs, cost of transport have gone up, as you hear everywhere. So plumpy nut treatment for malnutrition for young infants and children who are malnourished is now, 12 to 15% more expensive than it was before.
The cruise ship hit by a hantavirus outbreak is now anchored off the coast of Morocco with dozens of passengers on the way home.
I'm Remy Inocencio in Tenerife, the Canary Islands. The Hondias pulled into the port here on the south side of Tenerife before dawn, and a few hours later, after daybreak, passengers finally started to disembark after their 5.5-week cruise turned crisis. Small boats are ferrying them from the Hondias, which had dropped anchor in the industrial port of Granadilla. From the shore, passengers are quickly boarded onto buses and whisked to the airport just about 10 minutes away, then onto their repatriation flights home.
Medical officials say nobody disembarking has any symptoms of the virus. Whether it's candy, flowers, or brunch or dinner out, pampering mom on this Mother's Day is getting more and more expensive. CBS Sacramento's Connor McGill has more from Northern California.
This year, every step of the process costs more. High gas prices, tariffs, and shipping costs all driving up the price of flowers before they even hit the shop floor. She's mixing high-end flowers with more affordable ones.
You learn how to stretch everything out, and you learn how to price things out too. We have to mix premium things with very economical things.
This is CBS News.
Join Adriana Diaz and Kelly O'Grady for the perfect start to your weekend. Ease into your Saturday with CBS Saturday Morning on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Pump up the volume. Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Well, here's a story especially appropriate for radio because it's all about the ears.
What's happening out there? Shall I describe it to you, or would you like me to find you a box?
Never mind noses, lips, eyes, elf ears, a la Lord of the Rings Legolas, have become the most coveted cosmetic enhancement in South Korea. The Wall Street Journal reports demand is soaring for $70 injections of hyaluronic acid filler in the ridged cartilage at the tippy top of the ears. Think Spock.
Live long and prosper.
Plastic surgeons say the larger ears create the illusion of a smaller, slimmer face, a prized trait in East Asia. Some have turned to less invasive options, like specially designed tape that creates a similar effect when you wedge it behind your ears. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Many baseball players are wearing pink gear today. They're supporting breast cancer research on this Mother's Day. I'm Peter King, CBS News.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
For the rest of this Mother's Day afternoon, clouds with breaks of sun, high 64 degrees. And for tonight, becoming mostly cloudy, low 41. Tomorrow, partly sunny. Cool for May, a high of just 61 degrees. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Matt Buns, 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
Now, part of it, I'll just be honest with you, it's fascinating because I've lived this, but it's a little bit of a weird experience for me because it's not like I go interviewing my wife all the time, right? So to hear it objectively and ask you a question and have you kind of process it like a normal interview is fascinating to me. So for those of you along for the ride, you're learning not only about my lovely wife, you're learning about our life, you're learning about what I feel like is an amazing journey. I mean, I write about this in a Venn diagram of one, an American story. Again, it's on Barnes & Noble now. You can pre-order it. It'll hit bookshelves August 11th. And this story's in there in some parts, so you'll be able to read it. But to talk to her, I think, is that much more fascinating, especially on Mother's Day. And I want to talk to you about this first, Lainey, because, you know, you talked about having to leave and them, you know, making the choice to put on your transcript at one point in time, academically ineligible, and the stigma that comes with that. Now, you got to that point in time because you dealt with domestic violence. You came back to school, and as it says in the book, I mean, everybody go to chapter 2 when you get the book. It talks about how much of an impact domestic violence still had on your life when you came back to school. There's a very powerful chapter that talks about that moment in the courtyard that you and I shared. Right. And you've literally gone from library courtyard to honors convocation in your life. That's one hell of an arc. But the first half of the arc was not where the Lucky Charms and the pot of gold was. No. It was where the rainstorm was. And not only did you have to go through that academically ineligible and nobody cared about the domestic violence remnants because it was before the Me Too movement, but you also had to deal with that while we were engaged, before we got married, and helping me get through school. So you had to watch people tell you very cruelly in some instances, this is something he can do, this is something you can't do. You helped him do this, you can't do this. And you'll never do something like this. And here you sit today on Mother's Day doing more than I did. Talk a little bit about that, because that's a lot of hurt that you had to move through. And that hurt oftentimes stops people from moving to their second act because it's just too much pain. It's too much shame. It's too much stigma to move through. You moved through it. How did you do it?
Perseverance. And a lot of it was I had to get over myself. There was a lot of shame with it. Being told that you're academically ineligible after being a North Carolina scholar at one point.
A Bonner Scholar?
A Bonner Scholar. Volunteering. I mean, I did loads of volunteering in the medical community, Boys and Girls Clubs of America.
Volunteer pharmacy.
I had done all kinds of things to, to make sure that I was going to be able to get into medical school. And to hear that I was academically ineligible from a school that I had been involved with the school since my junior year in high school. So to hear that, it was heartbreaking for me. But I also knew that, my best friend, the person who I was looking forward to marrying, needed to graduate, even though I had already been dealt that blow that I was not going to be able to graduate from there. And not only was I not going to be able to graduate from there, but they had put a roadblock in the way for me being able to go to another school for a while. So I had to get over myself and tell myself that, hey, I love this man. I want to make sure that he's going to be able to graduate, even though I'm not going to be able to graduate. And I I just kept that in my mind that, sure, I'm not going to be able to graduate. They got one of us that, they kept one of us from graduating, but both of us, they're not going to keep both of us from graduating. And so I just did it.
You had to have a lot of faith to believe that you were going to get through school too, because as time went on, it's very easy to look at the clock, look at the calendar, look at the kids getting older. I mean, we literally had 2 kids graduate in our blended family. Yes. We had 2 kids graduate from college and 1 from grad school before you graduated. Been very easy to say, time is not on my side. This is not going to transpire. And I don't really care what he said as far as he's going to get me through school. It doesn't look like it's going to play out that way. But you're a woman of faith. I call you a rosary warrior all the time on these airwaves. I say that to people when I talk about you. Talk a little bit about the role of your Catholic faith and prayer to get to the point of time of first belief to get quote unquote over yourself, and then have the belief to have the perseverance to then do the schoolwork at 2 o'clock in the morning, 2:30 in the morning, when you're the only person up in the house.
Being Catholic, being Christian, I always look at, I call her Mother Mary. She went through way more shame than I did. Way much more shame than I did, having a child that is, the Son of God.
And she was supposed to be a virgin, and people are like, well, what's that bump on your belly?
Exactly. She went through way more shame than I did. So in my prayer, too, my rosary prayer, it helped me to remember that, yes, it does feel shameful, but if she can persevere and she can get over that and get through it, surely I can get over this, which is not even nearly as much as she went through and her son went through. That kept me, grounded and able to get through.
So you get through, and this time last year, you're on a plane flying to the Galapagos Islands, something you wanted to do since you were 19 years old. And you didn't go there for a vacation. You went there and you studied ecology. You studied the environment. You were there with your mentors from school. You went there with the high-achieving students, that cohort, which you were part of. And you were down there, and you weren't just hanging out in Ecuador. You were in the cut for days. Tell me what that was like, because everybody sees the iconic picture of you sitting on a sea turtle shell. But you were there doing the work. What was that like as you're doing the work and realizing, okay, maybe I am in my 50s now, but this is something I've wanted to do for decades, and here I am. What went through your mind as you were doing it, and what could you say to women across the demographics that are going to be listening to this interview that have their own thing they want to do? Maybe they want to go from paralegal to attorney. Maybe they want to go back and go from GED to college graduate. You had that moment down in South America just last year. What was going through your mind that you can share with those women so that they can leverage that as well?
Well, first off, it was amazing to be able to go to South America, go to Ecuador, and then go to the Galapagos Islands. Not a lot of people get to go to the Galapagos Islands. And then I'm in my 50s, and I was able to do that. So I was thrilled, amazed. When I first got on the plane, I still did not believe that I was actually going there until I landed in Ecuador. As far as what would I tell them, come up with a plan. And yes, you're going to have to adjust your plan along the way because things are going to happen. But, just keep the end in mind. Remember why you started this journey. Come up with your plan. And as you go along your journey, go along your path, remember why you started it and what your end goal is. Keep that end goal in mind as you go along. And I had to do that, which is not very easy because there are always obstacles or, unplanned events or things that come up, that pop up and get in your way. But you have to keep reminding yourself why you're on this journey.
2 other questions before I let you go. One before the break, one after the break. Talking to my lovely wife, Lainey McAllister. As you can see, she's the one that keeps me young, because if she going to be that fine, I can't be ugly. Or I'm not great looking, but I can't be looking like Shrek being married to her. That said, when it came to doing this, and it came to keeping on that plan, this isn't the same exact plan that the 3-year-old had playing Operation. It's not the same plan that the North Carolina scholar had graduating with honors from an IB school. And it's not the same plan that you walked on the Davidson College campus with in the fall of 1991 when I first met you. But they're similar plans. What would you say to those different iterations of yourself about how this plan eventually played out? Because there's a lot of self-forgiveness that you had to do that a lot of people with second acts had to do. I had to do it. So talk a little bit about, when you look back at those other iterations of Lainey, how you jibe all that together to say those plans were different than what we had then, but here we are now. And how could other people leverage that journey that you had to get to yesterday on Mother's Day weekend so that they can get to their own summit on the mountaintop?
I would tell each one of those iterations of myself that it's okay that the plans changed, because along that journey, you learn different things. You learn things, you gather new information, you learn new things that you were able to use to get to the next step. Maybe I needed to go through some of those, those hard lessons. Others, I don't think I needed to, but some of those things that I learned along the way have definitely helped me get to, where I am now as a graduate.
What do you want to do with the degree next? I have ideas, but share that with them before we go to break. What would you like this ultimate, final destination to look like? I'm certain that we've already talked about a master's degree. Honestly, if we fell into $10 million, you probably still would go to med school. But what do you see yourself doing now that what seemed to be impossible is not just possible, it happened? You went to the Galapagos.
Right.
You got the degree. You graduated with Latin honors. You won the award. It's not just possible, it transpired. What's the next thing that you would like to see transpire for Lainey McAllister?
Well, the next thing is, maybe if we did have $10 million, maybe I would go to med school. But then there's the element of time. I don't know if I would still want to do that. But I do know that I do want to at least get a master's degree and go on to do public health, epidemiologic research. That's my next goal.
Especially, and we talked about this when you were pivoting from IT to biology, the power of wanting to do that after the pandemic hit, and we saw the dearth of healthcare professionals that were out there and the people that were burning out.
Exactly.
I have one final question for you, but we're going to do that after the break. I'm talking to the lovely Lainey McAllister. I'll open up the phone lines after the news, but I'm going to break. I have one final question for her after the break here on News Radio KDKA.
Now more than ever, we're the station you can trust for the information you need. KDKA.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
30, time would have been 30, no, would have been 30, being 30, been 29. If that'll help, been 29,000.
Get ready to bid on the equipment you need in the Ritchie Brothers Northeast Regional Auction on June 23rd.
Inventory is housed at locations in Pittsburgh, North Franklin, and Northeast Maryland with in-person inspections available. Bid on a wide selection of construction and transportation equipment. Don't miss this great opportunity. Visit rbauction.com/Pittsburgh to sign up. Again, that's rbauction.com/Pittsburgh.
New to Medicare, get covered with MediConnect. Listen Wednesdays around 1:40 to hear Lance O'Brien of MediConnect help you navigate the Medicare process. Simply great, unbiased information to get you the best healthcare coverage. Get covered with MediConnect. Medicare made simple.
Join Beth Andrews for the Net Worth Financial Hour Saturdays at 1 to get the news and information you need to make your retirement dream a reality. That's the Net Worth Financial Hour with Beth Andrews, Saturdays at 1. Net Worth Advisors, LLC is a registered investment advisor.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
All right, talking to the Mendelian Award winner. You weren't the only one, but you were the only one that was over the age of 40. Over the age of 30. Yeah, 30. You were the only one this year that was over the age of 30, 40, and 50. I'm talking to Lainey D. McAllister, as it says on the award, and I was very proud to be there during honors convocation. The last question I want to ask you is one that I think a lot of people out there around the country need to hear, because you have a very unique story. I mean, you know, God bless your dad, my father-in-law, but he struggled with alcoholism. God bless your mother, but she struggled through horrific child abuse herself, which led to you suffering child abuse and then going through stuff as a teen and then going through domestic violence as a late teen, you know, in your 20s before we got together as a couple. I mean, I was your friend as this was beginning to transpire. I knew some of the stories as we were friends before we stopped. We didn't talk for 8 years. People don't realize that. People think we talked the whole time. We didn't talk for most of the 90s. In fact, the whole 2/3 of the 90s, we didn't speak, not one word. Then I watched you hit obstacle after obstacle. And then this dual track where I'm in the public eye and you're still saying, when am I going to get there? How am I going to get there? And having the battle self-doubt and, you know, systemic obstacles, cultural obstacles. I mean, we still treat women horribly collectively as a society. I think we started sliding in the wrong direction where we're getting more misogynistic. You're an African-American woman. The statistics are against you for a lot of these things. And you're here today on Mother's Day, first day where you and I have lived a full 24 hours where we both have had our degrees. We started this journey where neither one of us had our degrees. We were both second act students and stumbling through it. Right. And here we are. To the women, to the young girls that have gone through things that you've overcome with a smile on your face and a glow about you and intelligence that radiates, what would you say to them to help them get through, whether it's, you know, self-inflicted wounds or just things that happen to them? Because life is both, right? I mean, you went through both. I went through both. Some of them you say, I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
You know, but it's not like you were a crackhead. It's not like you were an alcoholic. So it's not like we're talking about that either. What would you say, particularly to the women out there that are looking for their second act and looking to you as somebody that can inspire them to go chase and obtain theirs?
I have learned that I have had to lean into my discomfort. And what I mean by that is, you know, acknowledge that I'm uncomfortable in these situations, such as going back to school and being in a classroom with 20-somethings, some that are under 20, and realize that they don't know everything either. They are here to learn just like I am. I just happen to be a different age. We're all there to learn. And we're all there to do the work so that we can eventually get our degree. So I would say lean into your discomfort. You need to feed your soul. And, you know, through your faith, you know, that's making sure that whatever you believe in, you lean into that as well. You feed your soul. You make sure if that's going to church, if that's meditating or whatever, but you need to take care of that part of yourself too, as well as your mental health. You know, I won't go into everything about mental health, but, you know, make sure that whatever you need to do, seeking help outside of yourself from others to make sure that you're in a space where you can actually go and be the best you can, whether that be in the classroom or whatever endeavor it is that you're trying to accomplish. And, you know, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to believe in you. So that's one of the biggest one of the biggest things I've learned throughout this journey is that I need to believe that I can do it. And so I've had to learn to believe in myself. And it seems like the more I believe in myself, the more others believe that I can do it.
Yeah, I think that's profound. I've lived this. You know, there's nothing I can say to you that's going to be new. So, but I think that, you know, and I've told you this, you and I have talked about this, that you have a fascinating story. You have a fascinating life story independent of my story. You have overcome a lot. You have a lot to give people. And I just appreciate you being willing, talking about being uncomfortable. 48 hours ago, you were not exactly as willing to do this interview. Now, were you? Let's just be honest.
No.
And yet, I think you did it in a very profound way. I think you did it in a way that will inspire a lot of people. And I think that this is just the beginning of your journey, not just as a scientist, which you are. And fundamentally, you are a scientist. Fundamentally, you're a child of God and a conqueror, a survivor, not just a survivor of domestic violence. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, Lainey, is because it's very easy for people to deduce victims of domestic violence or child abuse or domestic abuse down to what they went through. They don't usually get a chance to see the other side, the beauty of being a champion that says, I don't care what you tried to take from me, I reclaimed it. I don't care how you tried to stereotype me. I have made myself something new. I am reborn into a new identity that is much more than what you tried to make me, society tried to make me, or even what I tried to make myself. Just kudos to you for being able to do that. And thank you for inspiring other people to be able to see that in themselves.
Well, thank you for having me on the show to be able to talk about this and, you know, be encouraging to others.
That's a beautiful thing. I love you, and I will see you. I think I know where you live.
Yes.
That's my wonderful wife, Lainey McAllister. Going to news, then I'm opening up the phone line, so be kind because I'm in a very vulnerable spot right now here on News Radio KDKA.
Is your roof ready for April rain? Call Home Genius Exteriors now and get 50% off all roofing materials with 0% APR and no payments till 2027. Plus, get free gutters with your new roof. Call now to schedule your free, no-obligation roof and attic inspection from one of our experts. Call Home Genius Exteriors now at 855-U-R-GENIUS. That's 855, the letter U, the letter R, Genius. See website for details.
Pittsburgh, we've got a problem. Home care is in crisis and there aren't enough caregivers to meet the demand. So if you've got a loved one with Medicaid and needs care, don't wait. Freedom Care was built for this moment. We help you get care at home from someone you already trust, a family member or friend who can get paid to help with everyday needs like meals, medication, bathing, and mobility. If you have Medicaid, it's 100% free to you. No waiting lists, just real care from your people right now. Freedom Care handles it all, training, payroll, and support, so you can stay safe and comfortable at home, and your caregiver gets paid after every shift guaranteed. With 97% satisfaction and over 150 million hours of care delivered, Pittsburgh families are already making the switch to care at home. Take care of your own and get paid with Freedom Care. Call 412-844-5990. That's 412-844-5990. Call now, 412-844-5990. 412-844-5990.
Freedom Care, we're here for
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
Get connected. That's the Inside Connection this Saturday morning at 9 with your local Medicare experts from MediConnect. If you're turning 65, hear all the inside information available to seniors on the Inside Connection, presented by MediConnect. Medicare made simple.
It's Marty Griffin. I have seen so much anger these days. You know what's overwhelmed me with joy and optimism? This Get Marty. The folks in this community that have stepped up. You can't help your neighbor if you hate your neighbor. Get Marty epitomizes that opportunity to help people, feed people, clothe people, educate people. If you need me, get Marty at KDKRadio.com. It's where we will find a way to help you.
Presented by UPMC Health System, Bill DeLuceni and Associates, Cousins Roofing, Siding and Decks, and by Harold Shepley and Associates. News, weather, traffic, and business every day. Hear it on News Radio KDKA. From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
CBS News Brief. Iran says it's responded to the U.S. peace proposal. UN Ambassador Mike Waltz tells ABC's This Week ending its nuclear weapons program is a must.
It's not just the United States position. We have had resolution after resolution for nearly 20 years with the entire world agreeing that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, that it has to subject itself to inspection.
Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu tells Face the Nation Iran still has enriched uranium.
President Trump has said to me, I want to go in there. And I think it can be done physically. That's not the problem. If you have an agreement and you go in and you take it out, why not? That's the best way.
Passengers from the cruise ship hit by the hantavirus are headed home.
In total, there are about 150 or so passengers and crew from across roughly 24 countries. Passengers from Australia will have to stay one more night on the Hondius because of a delay in their plane.
Correspondent Ramy Inocencio in the Canary Islands. CBS News Brief, I'm Peter King.
Tune in this Sunday morning at 8 for the Coons Cooking Hour with Rob Pratt and the Coons Market Team. When they discuss your favorite copycat restaurant recipes you make at home. It's the Coons Cooking Hour, presented by Coons Market, your hometown Pittsburgh grocer.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Over 35 years, I've seen it all. Car crashes, work injuries, defective products, medical mistakes, lives flipped upside down in an instant. But I've also seen something else, the power of fighting back, the power of winning. Over $30 billion recovered and counting. Size matters, reputation matters, results matter. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Morgan & Morgan, 603 Stanwyck Street, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania lawyer will handle Pennsylvania cases. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
When sinusitis has your nose constantly blocked, life can feel smaller. You're stuck breathing through your mouth, which leads to sleep struggles, snoring that keeps your whole family up, fatigue, and more. The mornings start groggy, the days drag on, and it feels like nothing really helps for long. At Pittsburgh Sinus Centers, relief isn't just one size fits all. Their specialists use a wide range of innovative in-office treatments designed around you, designed to open your sinuses, restore natural breathing, and help you finally sleep through the night. You don't have to keep pushing through. If you're tired of the congestion, the pressure, and the endless cycle of sprays and pills that aren't providing relief, discover a treatment option that works for you at Pittsburgh Sinus Centers. Breathe easier, sleep better, and start feeling like yourself again. Schedule a consultation today. Call Pittsburgh Sinus Centers, 878-231-6036. 878-231-6036. That's 878-231-6036.
Allegheny County is looking for poll workers to work the election on May 19th. Poll workers earn $150 to $175 for the day plus paid training. For more info and to apply, visit AlleghenyVotes.com. That's AlleghenyVotes.com.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Clouds with breaks of sun for the rest of this Mother's Day afternoon with a high of 64. Then for tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 41. Partly sunny tomorrow on the cool side with a high of 61 for the afternoon. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Matt Benz, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, we'll be back Monday. Yes, enjoy the weekend. I'll catch you Monday, 2 to 6. Can't wait to talk. Colin Dunlap, KDKA.
All right, 3:35 here. Phone lines are open. It's still Mother's Day. 866-391-1020. Lenny McAllister, you and I together on Mother's Day 2026 on News Radio KDKA. That was a special interview to me, obviously. More than just because that's my wife. But I look at my life, and I'm sure that plenty of you all out there feel the same way. But I just wrote down, I was looking at my grandmother McAllister, my mother, and my wife. And those 3 generations of women were highly, highly, highly resilient. Individuals that had rather daunting odds, to say the least, to get to where they were going. My grandmother McAllister raised 12 kids during the Great Depression and World War II. After a while by herself, went back, became a nurse, and then got all of her kids through high school, which was significant back in the 50s and the 60s. None of them went to jail. Many of them served our country. They became professionals. They became contributors to society. She did that as an African-American woman that was left behind in many regards. My dad grew up very poor. And she made sure he got through as the last one. Working with her older kids. Working through a society that, it wasn't Alabama, but it wasn't 2026 racial equality, even though I put that in air quotes because we all know we're not at the perfect union. We're going towards a more perfect union. Then I look at my mother who went through her own challenges in her childhood. And between her and I write about this in a Venn diagram of one. My mother and my dad both went through cultural challenges to raise 3 kids that became college graduates. Neither one of them have a college degree. They overcame going through their own issues being black in America. In fact, in one point of time in the book, I list out all the African-American female peers of my mother, including people that you heard about, such as the young lady whose parents were the lead litigants in Brown versus Board of Education. That girl was my mother's age. Dorothy Count Scoggins, who ended up becoming the mother of one of my lovely wives and my friends from Davidson College. She was my mother's age. These were people that desegregated schools and communities. They were my mother's age. So my mother went through those same type of issues to overcome and make sure that we had an opportunity to thrive and achieve. And then I look at my wife who did that yesterday. And it's more than that. It's not she did that yesterday. She was doing that for years. Yesterday was the culmination of that. And I know I talk about black girl magic a lot because the truth of the matter is, black men don't celebrate black women enough. And I'm not going to be one of those black men. I never have been. I'm not going to start today. Now, her story is not just an African-American story. It's an American story. It is a story not just for women, but for everybody. And I know I talk about second acts in the book. But there's a value and understanding that second acts are available and viable and powerful if you pursue them and once you obtain them. And that's something that young people, old people, rich people, poor people, that's something that everybody can leverage and learn from. That's something that everybody can benefit from. That's why I wanted to share it. I mean, it's very easy for one to say, well, that's your wife. Of course you wanted to put her on the air. I could have taken her to a spa for Mother's Day to make her feel good. I can assure you, doing an interview with me was not going to make her feel good. I can tell you, as I mentioned when she was here, 48 hours ago, this was not a reality. But I get, and this is, I talk about trail magic in the book. I understand the trail magic of a mother and a grandmother that was told she'll never do this. They had to overcome odds, overcome self-doubt. It's not lost upon me that she got this degree with the Latin honors that she got them with on Mother's Day weekend. And it's not lost on me that there are plenty of people out there, including mothers, young mothers, mothers in their 20s and 30s and 40s, that are sitting there saying, I don't know if I can do it. I've been told I can't do it. I was told I was too old, too stupid. I was told that nobody would want to support me. I was told that people don't believe in me. And they isolated me. They made me feel like an outsider. We do this to people overall. We find a way to specifically do this to women on the periphery of society. And that was her. And it is always inspiring for people to see that you can walk from the periphery of society right to the center stage and be like, here I am. I knew I could do it. If God's with me, who can be against me? I don't say that in an arrogant way. I don't say that in a way that is tempting God, like golden calves or golden statues. I'll get into that in a little bit. I say that in a way because I believe. And it says in the New Testament, you got to have faith and you have to have works. You can show me your, paraphrasing, you can show me your faith with your words, and I will show you my faith through my works. And anytime you have an opportunity where somebody can show you their faith through their works, that's an opportunity to show why the American dream is still available, still viable, still available and viable for everybody across the four corners of our country, and why we as Americans have an obligation to make sure that that stays the way it is. And that is a nonpartisan, hyper-partisan, and I say hyper not as extremely partisan, I say hyper as in, maybe I should say super partisan, superseding partisan goal. It's probably the best way of saying it. The American dream is not a partisan dream, it's not a political dream. It's a cultural reality when we put the work in. And when we put the work in to make sure that it's available, stories like Laney's happen. You got to have faith. You got to have works. You can't say you believe in God and then not let God do those type of things. That's why I had her on. And I'm very appreciative, not just that she was on, but more so appreciative of who she is. 866-391-1020. I'll go to Mike the Millennial after the break. I'll go to others. I see the phone lines lighting up. I will get into politics, but I wanted to touch upon the Mother's Day aspect of all of this for me personally, for you all out there as well. First, because there's plenty of just controversial things to talk about. There's still good in the world, and I wanted to make sure we touched upon that before we dove into the other stuff. Now it's time to dive into the other stuff, but after the break on News Radio KDKA.
It's the little things. The information you need. People you know. The little things that make a big difference. The voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Have you saved enough? What are you going to do with Social Security? What will your taxes look like in retirement? Kurt Knodik and Ethan Lane at Accurate Solutions Group believe retirement planning should be easy and you should be able to get all the information you need in one place. That's why Kurt and Ethan's team created the Your Retirement Kit, a comprehensive resource for your retirement. In it, you'll find a copy of the Retirement Income Planning Booklet. This booklet will help guide you through retirement with insight on taxes, Social Security, income, and more. To get a copy of your retirement kit, text KIT to 412-515-3355. In addition to the booklet, you'll also receive updated resources on some of retirement's most common concerns. Help simplify your retirement planning. Claim your retirement kit from Kurt Knodik and Ethan Lane now by texting KIT to 412-515-3355. Investment advisory services offered through ASG Investment Management, LLC.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
93% of Pennsylvanians killed in a car crash while unbelted could have survived if they just buckled up. One simple click, a second of your time. It's the difference between making it home to your loved ones or not making it home at all. Whether you're a driver or a passenger, make the life-changing choice to wear a seatbelt. Every drive, every time. It's not just the law, it's common sense. Buckle up, PA. Learn more at PennDOT.pa.gov/safety.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
I never thought of myself as the type to settle down. Never knew where the team's next lunch was coming from. But then I met you, Easy Cater.
Workplaces everywhere are saying, I do want delicious food at work. And they're ordering from beloved restaurants with Easy Cater.
You were reliable. You had great options for every budget, even when marketing ops did keto again. We got through that together. With you, it's just so easy. Easy Cater, will you keep showing up at my workplace forever?
Find love at first lunch. Order at easycater.com.
If you're struggling to hear conversations, TV, or the people you love, now there's an easier, more affordable solution without spending thousands. Audion Hearing makes high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98 with free shipping and dedicated one-on-one support in the comfort of your own home. No doctor's offices, no pressure. Clearer hearing delivered right to your door. Join over 1 million happy customers hearing life more clearly. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Spring is showing up and showing out. Give your yard its own moment with limited time deals from Lowe's. Grab select 1.5-gallon annuals hanging baskets, 2 for only $15. Plus, we've got Miracle-Gro 0.75 cubic foot garden soil, 5 bags for just $10. A little dirt, a little color, and we are so back. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid 5/7 through 5/13. Selection varies by location. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
All right, 866-391-1020. Lenny McGallis with you until 6. Let's go to the phone lines. Mike the Millennial, happy Mother's Day to your mother. You're on KDKA.
Hey, Lenny, thank you so much for taking my call. And yeah, your wife was absolutely incredible and very inspiring. And, first of all, I just wanted to call in and say it's going to be hard to follow that up because I've been calling in the radio for like 6 or 7 years now. And that was her first time, and she did amazing. So I just wanted to say that first of all.
Thank you. I told Mike, I literally had told her that because of who she is, that the interview would be just fine. Now, again, it's her husband telling her that. So in one regard, it's like, yeah, of course you're going to say that. But in another regard, she had never done that before in a long-form interview. And, I mean, this is literally day one. As I mentioned on the interview, this is the first day where both of us accomplished the academic goal that we set out to accomplish when we both came back to school, neither one of us with degrees as second act students. So to be able to do that in the fog of celebration, if you will, I thought was I'm not shocked because I know she is, but it was still great to hear.
Yeah. Well, something I really took away from that interview was the importance of taking the first step and also identifying your purpose. When you say Tiger Woods, you think golf. When you say Elon Musk, you think, SpaceX, Tesla. You got to figure out what you are meant to do in life and then put everything into that purpose. And I feel like, that could be the hardest kind of first step, even before you take the first step, is determining what your purpose is. And I just think it was pretty amazing how, she overcame a lot to even get to the point of being able to take that first step into that journey of kind of, her purpose and her passion. And I think that was really incredible, to be honest. But yeah.
And Mike, I got to see it. I used to tell her all the time. I said one of the most gorgeous views that I would have of her was her, like, she would study in our bed sometimes, and there would be papers everywhere on our bed right as I'm ready to go to bed. And I would just be like, this is one of the most gorgeous visions of you that I could have. And she's like, what's that? I'm like, you're in your element. You're joyful. You're intrigued. You're intellectually curious. And you're going after it and you're succeeding. I'll go sleep on the couch. And she's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, because I now have bliss because I'm watching this. Now for me, I will admit, everything she's doing, and I say this not just to you, Mike, I say it to everybody out there, everything she's doing and has done, I'm not shocked about. I knew she would if she had a chance. So for me, the joy is being on the other side of it, saying, I knew this day would happen if she had a chance, and now this day has transpired, and she had a chance, and she did exactly what I thought she would do.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's just so inspiring, and congratulations to her. And, I was just thinking the other day, Lenny, I called in last year on Mother's Day for your Mother's Day show, and I can't believe it's already been an entire year. And, you said something pretty profound last year. I was just thinking about this. I asked, before your mom passed, what was some advice that she gave you that really stuck with you? And you were like, my mom wasn't one to just give out little like soliloquies about things. Like she was just someone that really led by example.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I think about my mom, I was, an only child growing up. My parents got divorced at a very young age, so I had a single mom, and she had to struggle a lot. We both did growing up, but she actually went back to college later in life in her 50s for a psychology degree. She was originally in IT. She did IT security, computer security for a university out here in Colorado, but she's always had a passion for psychology. And so when you talk about second acts, that was kind of my mom's second act. And, I'm extremely proud of her. Like, kind of similar to your mom, she's definitely someone that has led by example and really shown instilled the value of hard work to me personally, growing up and later on in life now. And of course, like I'm 30 years old now, and it's just crazy how life goes sometimes. And it goes a lot faster than you think. I mean, when I think about the last 10 years, it's just gone so fast. But yeah, I had something on politics. I was telling Mike, I almost hate to talk about politics on a day like today.
That's okay. So what I'm going to do, Mike, I'm going to hold you to the break, and then the news break will provide that natural, organic break where we can go back into the politics. We can dive into politics. We can dive into the job numbers. We can dive into the golden calf that is in Mar-a-Lago. We can dive into the Iranian deadline that passed with nothing done. We can go into all of that. So just hang tight. Chi, I see you as well. Others, 866-391-1020. I know there are people that want to talk about what transpired when it came to the maps that are being rapidly redrawn in several southern states, how it's going to be reversed in Virginia. There's plenty to talk about, but I'm going to come back to Mike. And Mike, by the way, I'm curious, before I come back to you, I put you on hold, but I'm coming back to you immediately. I'm curious as to whether or not, if you still listen to Michael Medved, and if you heard the Medved interview that I did, I'm going to take some constructive feedback. I have my pen. I'll take notes. But I'll get to that. I'll get to the politics, but I'll get to that after the news on News Radio, KDKA.
While you sleep, there are people you've never met who are working hard to make your morning. People who get up at ungodly hours to make sure you get the information you want. People who dedicate their lives to make yours better while you sleep. These people come together during the Big K Morning Show with Larry Richert, 5:30 to 10 in the morning, to make sure you have the best news, traffic, and weather to start your day. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for mom.
Being diagnosed with leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, or one of over 100 other types of blood cancer makes people want more time to do the things they love. That means more time to be artists, prom dates, world travelers, and moms. We are Blood Cancer United, the world's leading organization focused solely on blood cancer research, support, and advocacy. We do the most for more people with blood cancer, so people with blood cancer can do more of whatever they want. Blood Cancer United. Join us at bloodcancerunited.org.
Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
Pour at the Park is Saturday, May 16th at South Park Museum Building and Fairgrounds. It's a family-friendly event that supports the Allegheny County Parks Foundation and its mission to improve, conserve, and restore the 9 Allegheny County parks. General admission and VIP tickets available. VIP includes early entry and food samples. Details at pouratthepark.com. Pour at the Park. Drink local, support nature. Add a spark your guests won't forget. Bring the Fierce Mom Energy pop-up selfie station to your next event. Unlimited photos and dance videos, instant sharing, fun props, and custom photo keychains. Your guests will love it. Book now at fiercemomenergy.com. New to Rivers Casino? Join now and earn up to $1,000 free slot play. Stop by Rush Rewards on your next visit to start earning today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Details at KDKARadio.com.
Mommy, how come I can't sit in the front seat?
Because I love you and you're just not ready yet.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the-right-seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Peter King. So far, there's been no public comment from the White House after Iran's announcement that it had responded to the latest U.S. proposal to end the war. Energy Secretary Chris Wright tells Face the Nation one issue is non-negotiable.
Iran has nearly 1,000 pounds of uranium enriched to 60%, so close to weapons grade, way higher than any potential commercial use of it. They've lied all along that it's for a civil nuclear program, it's for their own energy. It was never about that. It was always about weapons.
Arizona Democratic Senator Mark Kelly says the war has depleted U.S. strategic weapons.
The numbers are, I think it's fair to say it's shocking, how deep we have gone into these magazines because this president got our country into this without a strategic goal, without a plan.
17 Americans are among those who've left the cruise ship hit by the hantavirus off the coast of Morocco now. About 100 people in all are headed home. At least one is showing signs of the virus. The BBC's Sarah Rainsford is on Tenerife Island.
Spanish nationals were evacuated first and then flown to a military hospital in Madrid, where they'll be kept in quarantine. This is a rare strain of the virus, and 3 passengers have died. But unlike COVID, it is only infectious with close contacts. This evening, the French Prime Minister posted on social media that one passenger from the Honduras had begun showing symptoms on the flight home. All 5 are now in strict isolation.
Red states have been rushing to change their congressional maps ahead of the midterm elections, redrawing district lines to heavily favored Republicans while minimizing districts that tend to favor Democrats. South Carolina Democratic Congressman James Clyburn is an African-American who could lose his seat. He tells CNN State of the Union Republicans are playing the double standard game.
Why is it okay to have a 75% white district, and that's not racial? If you have a 45% black district, that is racial.
A Houston woman is able to celebrate another Mother's Day thanks to modern medical technology.
NASA engineer Jody Graff traveled from Houston to Chicago, where she has undergone a double lung transplant at Northwestern Medicine to treat terminal lung cancer. Graff says before the procedure, she was pretty much trapped in her house.
I had 5 liters of oxygen, and I needed that to even get up to use the restroom.
She underwent the rare procedure on Thanksgiving Day, is still being monitored, and says she's grateful to celebrate Mother's Day with her 2 sons.
They're grown up, but they still need their mom.
Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News, Chicago.
This is CBS News.
Go to the ends of the earth, half a world away. Reach for the stars.
If I take time to think, they might go get Brad.
On CBS, Sunday morning.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
California lawmakers are considering whether or not to fund a way for cancer chemo patients to keep from losing their hair. Here's CBS's Michael Wallace.
They're called scalp cooling caps.
And so you are slowing the metabolism of hair follicles and reducing chemotherapy disruption to the follicles and therefore preserving hair.
Dr. Joe Chen at the University of California, San Francisco says 2/3 of cap users preserve half their hair, but the caps can cost thousands of dollars. The bill before state lawmakers would require insurers to cover the caps. Cancer survivor Stella Serrao paid for a cooling cap out of pocket.
Gave me a sense of normalcy.
She says all cancer patients should have the option. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
At the box office, it's a battle of the twos, with The Devil Wears Prada 2 earning $43 million. That's $3 million more than Mortal Kombat 2. Michael, The Sheep Detectives, and a Billie Eilish concert film round out the top 5. I'm Peter King, CBS News.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
For the rest of this Mother's Day afternoon, clouds with breaks of sun, high of 64 degrees. And for tonight, becoming mostly cloudy, low 41. Tomorrow, partly sunny. Cool for May, a high of just 61 degrees. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Matt Benz, 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
Eight 866-391-1020. Going back to the phone lines, Mike. We now have our organic break away from Mother's Day stuff. Dive into the politics.
Yeah, well, real quick, Lenny, I got to tell you, I briefly listened to your interview, a 10-minute, only about 10-minute interview with Michael Medved over the break, and that was interesting. You were talking about, the divine kind of idea, the divine plan that Reagan talked about so much, and you referenced, reconnecting with your wife and, what your father went through with the shooting, and that was really inspiring as well. So, you had asked me about that. I just wanted to kind of touch on that real quick.
Was it a surprise that I know you listen to Medved all the time. So was it a surprise to be like, oh, wow, I thought of you after I did the interview, I did think of you. I was like, I wonder what's going to go through his mind when he hears this, if he has a chance to.
I'm glad I listened to it. I'm going to go back and listen to the whole thing because I kind of skimmed through it. But that was really amazing. And you've been through a lot, man. You have been through a lot, Lenny, and you've overcame it. And we're all so proud of you. It's like we are proud of you. So thank you.
Thank you.
First of all,
I appreciate that, kind sir, very much. And I know that I will say this to you, but also to younger people. I tell younger people all the time when I do public speaking and the like, when their eyes light up because of something I've said, or they are inclined to take a different path because of something I've said or done, I tell them and remind them that, inspiration is a 360-degree exercise. It is not something where it's just one way to another, older people to younger people. The way this works in life is that we're supposed to be helping each other. So your words today in saying that even to me mean more than you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me touch on this thing with Iran real quick, and then I'll hop off. But so President Trump on Sunday vowed to confiscate Iran's leftover nuclear material and warned the Islamic Republic that America is carefully watching its facilities from space. So the president said that taking control of Iran's enriched uranium remains his top priority with Iran. We'll get that at some point. What I was going to ask you about, he said that was Cheryl Atkinson. And what I was going to ask you about, when this Iran war eventually wraps up, when it's over, we're still going to have to be monitoring that uranium, but would part of a deal, whether it be a 5-year deal, a 10-year deal to have Iran nuclearly disarm, would they not capitulate, but compromise and let us go into that facility and get that uranium out? Do you think, would that be on the table as kind of a negotiating tactic to any kind of agreement?
I think less than it used to be, Mike, because the fact that it's now unilateral. Whereas with the JCPOA, even though I didn't agree with the deal in 2015 at the time because it didn't do enough to scale back their support of terrorism and their willingness to use missiles against their neighbors. That was my pushback against the JCPOA. And lo and behold, you end up having October 7th, 2023 as an example. That said, and that was, of course, after the JCPOA got ripped up by the Trump administration. But at least with the JCPOA, they didn't want inspectors coming in. They didn't want the type of monitoring that was transpiring, but at least it transpired by way of a multinational agreement. And that's a little different. And people forget that Russia was part of that. So that's at least different than what this would look like now, which would be the United States and Israel coming into Iran. And if there are two countries that Iran does not want coming into their borders, looking at and basically taking their camel's nose and peeking underneath the tent, it's going to be the United States and Israel. So I would think no, or if it comes about, it's going to be a much harder negotiation. Now, ironically, and I want to bring this up because people have overlooked this point before I let you go, Mike. Part of the negotiation is unfreezing billions of Iranian assets in international banks, which was one of the critiques of the JCPOA in the Obama administration. You gave them billions of dollars as if they just kind of, gave them a winning lottery ticket. No, that's basically what the Obama administration did as well. They unfroze assets to basically get the access to make sure that the Iranians did not spin up the uranium to a point of being weaponized. Now, here we sit all over again doing the same exact thing that was critiqued back in 2016, 2017, 2018. We're talking about it 10 years later.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Okay. Hey, happy Mother's Day, Lenny, and thank you so much as always. Thank you.
Thank you, kind sir, for listening. I always appreciate your words. I always appreciate you calling in, and I never forget the fact that you have used talk radio as your way to step from one place to another. So I never forget about that, and I always commend your willingness to do that and continue on, Mike. So thank you for calling in as always. Chi in New Ken, you're on KDKA.
Hey, Lenny, it was a pleasure listening to your wife. I think the dialogue of science is something that's not always I mean, I grew up loving science and everything, and went to school CFCC for nursing and got even more intrigued into it. I like the whole study with the electromagnetic energy because it merges absolutely into biology, quantum physics, as well as the theology section of its mystical points in the 66 books. And I was smiling because I very seldom can communicate with or talk to people about the subject of science because, sometimes they get lost. The second subject I wanted to find out about is, since 2016, I was able to go on to Forbes, FORBES.com, and they have the listing up there in the title of Trump's portfolio. In it, he has shares in 4 different gasoline companies, Exxon, Shell, Amoco, and there's one more. So do you think that it was his advantage because he has shares in gasoline to allow these prices to go down or up? In all of this, I think his acting skills are coming into play because he's making money off of the consumers because his shares are in there.
Yeah, here's the bigger controversy, Chi, is if you remember, the speculative markets are where you can bet on world events happening and you can make money off it. There was literally somebody that bet on the Venezuelan heist, I'll call it, of getting Maduro out of Venezuela.
It's part of that.
I understand that.
That shares in that, too.
That's where I'm going. So somebody made, and they actually indicted a military, somebody connected to the military for making hundreds of thousands of dollars off of that. But now there are anonymous bets that have been placed over the last couple of months where they have been saying somebody's making an awful lot of money on what's been going on in Iran because they've been betting on what's the next world event that's going to transpire. They haven't been able to trace who's making that money yet, but there have been reports of there's an anonymous bettor or 2 or 3 that have been making an awful lot of money based on world events of what's been going on between the United States, Israel, Iran, and Lebanon. And that, to your point, starts pointing to, okay, are we getting the full story, or are we being played in a way that's hurting us all?
Yes, because if you check the Dow is going up. And when the Dow goes up, the shares are up. Those who have shares in it are the rich. Under those particular circumstances, they pass the price on to the consumer, which is us. And so somebody's trying to dupe the consumer and go into their pockets while they make money under without being known. Trump has shares in gasoline.
And Chi, I appreciate your phone call. I'm running up against a break. The thing that has MAGA walking away, parts of MAGA walking away from the Trump movement, and that includes Tucker Carlson, that includes Candace Owens, people that were geniuses that are now stupid, according to 4547. The big thing that people forget about is Trump was elected in 2016, and one of his biggest campaign slogans, in addition to Make America Great Again, MAGA, was also drain the swamp. And the more we go along in part 2, Trump administration electric boogaloo, or actually more like gas prices going up boogaloo, the swampier this seems to get. The people that are making decisions, the dichotomous gains on Wall Street while the American consumer is suffering. I have yet to get into the job numbers. We added, I think, 115,000 jobs in March, and that's a big deal, and everybody's happy about that. The flip side is we're adding on average 76,000 jobs a month. Now, that's up from 10,000 jobs a month, the average last year. But when you think about what job growth really looked like, I did an interesting experiment. I'll talk about this after the break and after the phone lines. I mean, I'm looking at Michael, Dave, Joanne. So I'm going to get to the phones after the break. But here, I made it a point to go back and look at job creation at different eras when the population was less. And in some instances when we had more on the line, including after recessions, double-digit inflation, and what job creation looked like then. And I did it with a very interesting comparison in mind. I'll get to that after the phone calls, because when I look at job numbers coming out and there's 115,000 jobs added and that's it, and then I look at where we have been over the last 2 years, and, you know, we had a State of the Union address that told us that this was going to be, we're in the golden era of America. Now, I guess golden era means, in essence, I don't know, maybe it means all the golden statues that we have. It could be that. But this isn't a golden era. We lost 156,000 jobs in February. Gained 185, gained 115. We have added a total of 304,000 jobs in 1/3 of the year. In May, actually, let's go 4 years ago, and then I'll go to the break. In April, 4 years ago, again, after the pandemic, I get that. We added more jobs in 1 month 4 years ago than we have had all year added so far. Total. Something to chew on. Going back to the phones when I come back here on News Radio KDKA.
Your source for official traffic information. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
Magnificent May savings at Coons Market. Isn't that right, Frank Dentisi?
Right, Rob. In our meat department, 85% lean fresh ground round is $4.99 a pound,
In the produce department, wholesaleless watermelons, $4.99 each. In our deli, Sugardale Virginia Classic ham is $3.49 a pound. Then additional savings this week, Dasani water, 24-pack, 16.9-ounce bottles, buy one, get one free.
It's all happening now at Coons Market. Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI, and you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Hi, Paul Alexander here to let you know that KDKA has planned a fabulous 5-day Arizona getaway this September, and it's filling up fast. My wife, Shelley, and I want you to join us for an unforgettable trip based in beautiful Flagstaff, a relaxed mountain town that makes the perfect home base. From there, we'll explore the incredible red rocks of Sedona, travel by rail to the breathtaking Grand Canyon, a bucket list spot that everyone needs to see at least once. And then we'll take in the stunning scenery around Lake Powell with its deep blue water and wide open views. It's the perfect mix of sightseeing, natural beauty, and plenty of time to just enjoy where we are. And September is truly the sweet spot. Comfortable weather, no summer crowds, and everything planned for you. No guessing, no stress. Just show up and enjoy Arizona. Space is limited. Seats are disappearing quickly. Visit travelwithkdk.com or call 800-383-3131. Again, travel with KDK.com or call 800-383-3131. Can't wait to see you there.
If you dread dealing with your insurance more than you dread yard work, with a swarm of hungry mosquitoes buzzing around, then you might have Insuranoia. You should have NJM Insurance. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
All right, let me jump back to these phone lines. I'll dig into the economic. There's so many things to go through. And again, I bring up the numbers all the time because, one, American voters vote on their pocketbooks and their wallets. First and foremost, the war is going to be 1A. The economy is going to be 1. Gas prices, price of groceries, lack of jobs. 1A is going to be this war, which, by the way, ties directly into 1, which is gas prices, groceries, cost of living, lack of jobs. So that's why I keep bringing it up. It's very, very, very easy to get caught up in the golden calf down at Mar-a-Lago. Wait a minute, it's not a golden calf, it's a golden statue. And it's not a golden calf, even though I have religious leaders literally cutting the ribbon for the golden calf, statue. Very easy to focus on that and not realize that you've now had a full year Liberation Day and you've added 500,000 jobs. We've had months where we've added almost 500,000 jobs. Not that long ago. Granted, after COVID, but not that long ago. We had a month in 2024 where we added 228,000 jobs. It's almost as many jobs as we've added so far this year. These are things that I want to make sure we're not missing. Going to the phone lines. Joanne, are you a mom?
Yes, I am.
Happy Mother's Day to you, child of God, and you're on KDK.
Thank you, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and your wife.
Thank you.
I wonder I'm not, get so immune and we worry about whether it's the president being shot at or neighborhoods and 13-year-olds. When do we get so that we stop talking about gun control? I have not heard a politician. I have not heard any of these callers. Who do you think that is not important?
Leon Ford talks about it when he talks about his work, not only trying to help communities interact with the police better, but also recruiting kids to consider jobs in policing, EMS, and firefighting. He talks about the issue of gun violence as well. And I will tell you why that you don't hear a lot of politicians talk about it on an ongoing basis, Joanne. It's because, first and foremost, it is hard to do. It is a very tight knot that takes a very long time and a whole lot of persistence and vision to untangle. And on top of that, because voters and politicians are generally inclined to go chase after the shiny new thing that hits the headlines, and they are about solving real world issues and problems that will have a long-term impact. I mean, again, it's about, do you want to be trendy or you want to be historic? Trendy is you chase the headlines and you address the headlines, you stay in the headlines yourself. Historic is fixing these systemic issues and remedying them once and for all. People don't want to get dirt underneath their fingernails anymore, Joanne. That's the bottom line.
The bottom line is people, especially these politicians, are getting big bucks. And so when we go to the polls, this is what we need to think about. You keep hearing about, this one got shot, this one got shot. What is it, that little religious guy? I never knew anything about him until, somebody shot him. And when somebody's shooting at the president, you're hearing all this. I just don't get it at all. Why is it not important? It's important every day of our life. You could be walking anywhere with these guns flying around, especially the young 13 and 12-year-olds that have guns. I don't know why people think this is not important.
Because it's easier to allow it to be somebody else's problem. As long as it's not in my backyard, they don't address it. But again, part of it, I'm gonna put, not putting this back on you, Joanne. The you is plural, not you as in Joanne. But these are also our values overall. This is who we vote for. We vote for people that do this. We vote for people that chase the headlines. We vote for people that make us feel good in one instance or at one period of time, and not vote for actual leaders that are going to be able to solve multiple problems across multiple lanes at once. And a lot of that is people only talk to their 50+1. They only talk to their tribe. They don't talk across the community. And these issues that you're talking about, Joanne, that need to be resolved, i.e. gun violence, i.e. underemployment or unemployment, i.e. gaps in education, i.e. helping people climb the economic ladder to success to keep their neighborhoods safer. That takes people that can talk across tribes, quote unquote, and talk to different types of people with the same vision. How many people do you have out there in politics, Joanne, that are capable of doing that on a long-term basis? Not many. And by the way, most voters don't want to vote for that individual because, quote unquote, they don't look like me, or quote unquote, I don't like their view on this, or quote unquote, well, I don't know, they don't come from my neighborhood. As a result, you have the divisiveness and you continue to have the problems.
Well, I just hope the 19th we will be out there voting, and I hope many of you look and maybe read up on who it is you're voting for, because the last thing I want to say, I heard one of them callers that call, not so much to call the radio host, to say in many, many ways that we should forget about January 6th. I just could not believe it. Like we forgot about slavery.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this is amazing that this person wanted to say, well, how many years? It doesn't make any difference how many years it is. We're not going to forget January 6th when the vice president, they wanted to hang him. But, I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Joanne, I appreciate your call. I'm going to break. People want us to forget about why the Voting Rights Act was put into place. They said we didn't need it anymore. They said that you can't gerrymander based on race, but you can gerrymander on other special interests. And what are those other special interests doing? They're going down there and gerrymandering. Now, yes, I am a Republican, but I would say give it a gerrymandering. I think the Republican Party needs to be able to compete for votes across the diversity of America that we don't do well. But I would also say that the Democratic Party, the Democrats have run so far to the left over the last 10 years that they can't compete with the middle either. Everybody's scared of the middle, so they draw these maps like this, both the left, hard left, and right, hard right. Get rid of the gerrymandering, and we could probably have a more functional America. Coming back to the phones after this break on News Radio KDKA.
Been 30, time would have been 30, no, would have been 30, being 30, been 29, if that'll help, been 29,000.
Get ready to bid on the equipment you need in the Ritchie Brothers Northeast Regional Auction on June 23rd. Inventory is housed at locations in Pittsburgh, North Franklin, and Northeast Maryland with in-person inspections available. Bid on a wide selection of construction and transportation equipment. Don't miss this great opportunity. Visit rbauction.com/Pittsburgh to sign up. Again, that's rbauction.com/Pittsburgh.
Join Beth Andrews for the Net Worth Financial Hour Saturdays at 1 to get the news and information you need to make your retirement dream a reality. That's the Net Worth Financial Hour with Beth Andrews, Saturdays at 1. Net Worth Advisors, LLC is a registered investment advisor.
News, weather, traffic, and business every day. Hear it on News Radio KDKA. From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
CBS News Brief. As Iran considers a U.S. peace proposal, the U.S. has backed off military action in the Strait of Hormuz. But U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright tells CBS,
if it's clear in the next few days that there's not a good path to a negotiated settlement, we'll go back to the military method to open the strait.
passengers from a cruise ship the site of a deadly hantavirus outbreak are being flown home.
Our recommendations for the passengers and the crew who are on board is that they have active monitoring and follow-up, which means daily health checks.
That's the World Health Organization's Maria Van Kerkhove. The Supreme Court has struck down a congressional map that could have given Virginia Democrats an edge in House elections. Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu tells CBS.
The best way if someone shoves you down is to get right back up and fight back, and that's what we're going to do. And of these 4 seats in Virginia, we believe we're going to win 2 of them in the midterms, and that's what we're doing. We're fighting back.
CBS News Brief, I'm Heather Bosch.
Pittsburgh's very own board-certified and licensed hypnotherapist Dan Vitchoff of the PA Hypnosis Center is here to help you. He has helped train U.S. Olympic team members control their brains, stay relaxed, focused, and in control, giving them the edge for the gold. He's recognized by many organizations around the world as one of the top hypnotherapists anywhere. He has gotten over 3,000 people to give up cigarettes for good in the last 22 years. He's helped folks even who've tried gastric bypass to lose weight. He can help you and give you a 98% success guarantee. Call 724-934-8446. That's Dan Vitchoff, the PA Hypnosis Center. Mention KDKA and get $50 off any program. But call for a free consultation today, 724-934-8446. The PA Hypnosis Center with Dan Vitchoff. Make that call today, 724-934-8446.
A luxury vacation home where the only decision is pool time or beach time. Your own private indoor pool, a real movie theater, a kitchen big enough for everyone to cook together. Whether it's a deep water dock on the lake or a private path to the ocean, SWAC Vacation Rentals has the place where this summer's memories are made. And when you book direct, you skip the extra platform fees and you get the best price. Give yourself something better to look forward to this year. Let's be honest, you've earned it. Visit SWAC, SWACK Vacations.com.
If you're in the Pittsburgh area and caring for a loved one with Medicaid, get paid starting today. Freedom Care has already helped over 162,000 families get the care they deserve, with 97% satisfaction and more than 8,000 5-star reviews. If you have Medicaid, you need to hear this. You may qualify to choose a caregiver you already trust, a family member or friend, and they can start getting paid. No agencies, no strangers, just someone you know, helping with meals, medication, bathing, mobility, and more. This service isn't for later, it's for right now. It's 100% free to you through Medicaid, and caregivers get paid right away after their shift. Find out if you qualify today. Call 412-801-7213. That's 412-801-7213. Don't wait. Call 412-801-7213 now. Again, 412-801-7213. Freedom Care. Get paid to care starting now.
Freedom Care. We're here.
While you sleep, there are people you've never met who are working hard to make your morning. People who get up at ungodly hours to make sure you get the information you want. People who dedicate their lives to make yours better while you sleep. These people come together during the Big K Morning Show with Larry Richert, 5:30 to 10 in the morning, to make sure you have the best news, traffic, and weather to start your day. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour, and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce. Pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Becoming mostly cloudy tonight, low 41, then partly sunny and cool tomorrow, high 61. Clear and chilly tomorrow night, low 35. Increasingly cloudy Tuesday, high 65. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Kai Erickson, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, we'll be back Monday. Yes, enjoy the weekend. I'll catch you Monday, 2 to 6. Can't wait to talk. Colin Dunlap, KDKA.
All right, let me go back to the phone lines, 866-391-1020. Dave in San Francisco, you're on KDK.
Oh, thanks, Lenny, and happy day to all you mothers out there.
Likewise to you and yours that you love in your family.
Yeah, appreciate it. You ended out that last segment by talking about how the Republicans have taken some dangerous positions, but that Democrats are over the cliff. Well, I dispute that fully. It's been obvious that Trump has been over the cliff a long, long time, and normalcy, living up to the old basic standards of the Constitution, that there's equal rights under the law, equal justice under the law, equal protections under the law, and that when somebody comes along like Elon Musk and rips apart all of the safety systems, that's not that the response from the Democrats is not radical. It's self-preservation.
No, whoa. What I said was that the Democrats ran to the far left as well, and they have run to the far left. And let's just be honest, if they weren't as far left as they were, pushing the party as far left as they had, there's no way Donald Trump wins in 2016, and there's no way they win in 2024. And who won in 2016 and who won in 2024? Who won independence in those 2 years?
Well,
But no, you can't. No, don't, Dave. Don't go Elon Musk. Yeah, Dave, don't go. Dave, hold on, Dave. Dave, hold on, Dave. Hold on, before you go down talking points. The one thing I want you and I to be able to do moving forward is I admit when the Republicans do something wrong. I admit when there's a fact that I have to acquiesce to and then go into what we need to do moving forward. It's not that hard for you, and I understand you're on the far left, and that's okay. But you got to at least be able, hold on, okay, even if you're on the left, you got to be able to at least admit that the positioning of the Democrats has cost them 2 elections because they fell out of touch with the very independent voters that they needed in order to win key swing states or key elections within states. That is a fact. It's just like the Republican Party allowed their principles to be hollowed out, where they have now become the party of tariffs. They have now become the party of ballrooms. The Christian right are down there cutting ribbons for a golden calf. Wait, not a golden calf, a golden statue. That's not a golden calf. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's the explanations away from, that's Trump as a doctor, not Trump as Jesus type of explanations for people that have literally flipped out over other issues not that long ago. There's room to admit that the fringes on both sides have this country askew. But you seem to have a hard time admitting that, especially when it comes to what I just said about 2016 and 2024.
Well, again, I am not a leftist. My great-great-great-great-grandpa signed the Declaration.
I get that. I'm asking you to I'm asking you to just admit what I said. That's all I'm saying.
Can I answer?
Sure.
I am a 1776 conservative who does not like I don't like oh my God, the corporations. 13 colonies were 13 corporations. And 1776, all of the corporate money was being sucked over the ocean and never coming back.
Dave, I need you to come to the 21st century. I just asked you a question about 16.
Right there right now.
Okay,
and the Supreme Court has been so corrupted. Like, I'll give you 3 examples of Social Security data. Doge gets into the Treasury. The first day out of Trump's inauguration, Doge is in the Treasury.
I remember
sucking all of our data into a file.
And they should not have been.
And now Palantir has got all of our data. Is that a conservative issue or is that a self-preservation issue?
I think that
then
is.
Then there's Snyder. Snyder says that a bribe can become a tip. And that a corrupt politician over in Indiana who takes a bribe for allowing garbage trucks can now call that a tip and not go to prison for it. That's the Supreme Court back last year. And then a third one, this redistricting the other day. Then all of a sudden, equal justice under the law? Nope, none of that. Equal protection under the law? Nope, none of that. Taxation with representation? Nope, none of that. That's the Supreme Court.
So Dave. So first of all,
it's not a radical issue. It's a self-preservation issue.
You're still not letting me agree with you. I've said all these things myself. I've said them in speeches. I've said them in clips. I've said them in articles. I've said them on these airwaves, and I've said them for years. All I said that triggered you was that the left has gone so far left that they've missed the boat as well. That's what I said. Now,
it's not left, it's self-preservation.
No, it's not self-preservation. The bottom line is, Dave, when you, I'm not going to say you, when the Democrats, we have a fight right now in.
I'm not even a
stop,
Democrat.
Dave. I just said not you. I said the Democrats. Pay attention. I know you're triggered. Just listen. For example, we have a fight right now in Western Pennsylvania where 2 individuals fighting for a state house seat, including one that is currently an elected official, had to apologize for a mailer when they literally critiqued the whole issue of we have one candidate that's supporting transgender athletes being able to compete in high school sports. I don't agree with that. That is seen as being hateful, whereas the majority of Americans would like this issue to be dealt with. Now, am I saying that needs to be the top of ticket issue? No. But guess what? Democrats made it a top of mind issue, and then Republicans flipped it on its head and made it one of the issues that Kamala Harris lost the election on. When that's where you want to plant your flag. Hold on, Dave. Let me finish. Let me finish for a second. I let you finish. Even when you were stuttering over yourself, I gave you a chance to catch your breath. Let me get through my issue, and I promise you I'm going to give it back to you. My whole point was, when you are on the far right and you're taking extreme issues and you're planting your flag there, and you're on the far left and you're taking extreme issues and you're planting your flag there, you're missing middle America. And as a result, the dysfunction continues. I said that both sides did this, and you're saying that it's self-preservation for the left to do it, but not the right. The right, by the way, Dave, feels the same exact way. They feel like their quote-unquote American way of life is at risk because of issues on the far left. They're literally saying the same thing. Somebody has to stop saying it and look at America, back to your point, equal protection under the law. If you're a transgender American, you're still an American. There are certain secular rights you need to have. Now, the issue of high school sports, that's more complex. It's kind of like saying, my kid is 14 years old, but has the body of a 12-year-old, but plays a game really well. Can they now compete with the 11 and 12-year-olds? Biologically, they have an advantage by being 14 years old. There's an argument that people can make the same exact way with a transgender athlete. I'm not making that argument today. I'm saying that people do make that argument. But when you plant your flag on the far right or the far left, you miss the majority of Americans. That's all I was saying. Go right ahead.
Well, the Supreme Court at this point, and the corruption out of Trump, is treating Americans not as citizens, but treating us as subjects. And that's the issue with 1776, that the British citizens, the colonists of 1776, were subjects, not citizens. And that the landowners, the corporate heads of the 13 colonies could treat us without justice. You read the Declaration of Independence about how dragging us off to prisons where we couldn't be given legal aid or we couldn't be given protections by any means. We were subjects, not citizens. And the Supreme Court is getting back to that. And by the way, as you're talking about the, transgender in sports, there's two answers to that. The issue of pollution is changing the biological conditions of kids nowadays. 25 years ago, there were books written about there was so much pollution that there was a vast damage.
That's not the same as that's not. No. You're not going to tie that bridge. That's not the same as actually going and changing your gender. That's not what we're talking. That's not what we're talking about, Dave. No, it's not.
It was.
Dave, I gotta let you go because no, it's not. I understand the pollution issue, and I'm actually there with you as far as plastics in the water and in the food and chemicals in the water and the food and the manufacturing of our food. I get it. That's not the same as what people are arguing about when it comes to transgender athletes. Not going to let you tie that bridge. I just want people to call into the show and be fair brokers of their argument. Come with your best intent, not the intent of I'm going to shoehorn this into the issue I like, and therefore I will figure out a way to get back to it. I believe in environmental racism. I do realize that some of these things have, the plants and some of the other issues. Cancer Alley is real in Louisiana and other places, and more often than not, it impacts African Americans and poor communities. Not just African Americans, but also poor communities. I believe in that. But I'm not going to tie some issues to other issues just because it sounds good. Make it make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, acquiesce to that and then go someplace else. You could still keep your point of view. Just back it up with a rational tie. Craig, Ted, Dick, I'll get to you after the break here on News Radio KDKA.
Every Tuesday morning at 7:20, listen for Inside Independence Health, a look at all things healthcare with the experts from Independence Health System. It's brought to you by Independence Health System. Expert care here.
No use denying it. Old Man Winter's been hard on our homes. If it's drafty windows, overflowing gutters, rotted trim, or that dreaded leaking roof, PJ Fitzpatrick can take care of your home repair project before it turns into costly structural damage. Don't keep putting it off. This is the best time to call the repair experts at PJ Fitzpatrick. No job too big or too small. They'll fix it right the first time. Visit trustpj.com.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Ready to start thinking like Wall Street without leaving Main Street? Tune in Sunday mornings at 6:30 for a slice of advice with Kelton Burgess. Right here on the Voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
All right, going back to the phone lines, 866-391-1020. Ted, Mount Washington, happy Mother's Day to the lovely women in your family. You're on KDK.
What's going on, man?
How art thou?
Man, you know what? It was nice to hear your wife, but I have a question.
Uh-oh.
How in the world did she marry somebody like you? She couldn't do better?
She could have done better. Anything that I say, there are really, really sarcastic things that I have to say that all of which would get me in trouble either with her or, as Eminem said, the FCC wouldn't let me be and let me be me. So let me see. So no, I'm not going to answer that question. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank God for Mother's Grace. But real quick. Did you see the AI-produced campaign commercials from Spectre Pratt, Spencer Pratt, by the way?
I have not.
You have to see it. That may be the future of campaign. And one AI generated a campaign ad. He's Batman, and Bass is the Joker. You have to see it.
Oh my God!
Go on YouTube, watch it. It's funny. He even got Rubio in it. He goes like, "Go, Spencer." So
I will.
I think that is going to be the future campaign ad. It looks good.
I will check it out. There was interestingly enough, there was an ad that was talking about. It was talking about, I think, pharmaceuticals, but I'm not certain. But in the lower left-hand corner, it says, these stories are, these images are AI generated, but the frustrations behind them are real. And the first three images, Ted, you could not tell that those were not real human beings. It's just the fact that I saw that at the bottom of the screen at the very beginning of the commercial. And then the fourth one, you could look at them and I'm like, oh, that is an AI. But the first two in particular, you're like, oh, wow. And to your point, you know, we're in a world where people are trying. This is what people forget, Ted. People have always tried to be deceptive. It's not like people are just trying to deceive us now, but before they were 100% honest. No, they've always tried to deceive us. The tools have just gotten a lot better. So the discernment has to go to another level.
Yes, look, to me, it's fantastic. It's going to be tough for any politician to really compete with that. You're going to have hire somebody that knows how to use AI, guaranteed, even if you run for any kind of office. But it's fantastic.
But here's the other thing with that. And maybe I'm being naive. And go ahead, you're going to tell me I'm being naive, so just say it now. But I think that this elevates the need for people to be honest in office and be who you say you are and really be civic-minded. Because if you aren't, anybody with the best tools, the best AI, the most amount of money with PACs, we've seen that over the last 20 years, those are going to be the people that are going to be in office, and nothing's going to get fixed because it's going to all be about who has the best new toys, not who has the best solutions, who's the best leader. But I think that if people are willing to cut through the noise enough, they may be able to say good old-fashioned values has a shot to really make a comeback if people are inclined to look for them and find that tree in the forest, if you will.
Well, it's a great time for an outsider. Okay? It really is for an outsider to run for any office. It's a great time. I think I know people are just sick of the status quo. It's just not working. And also, give me your opinion. And I give Donald Trump a lot of credit.
No, hold on. I got to go to break. I want to hear that opinion. Don't go anywhere, Ted. Don't go anywhere, Craig. Don't go anywhere, George. Don't go anywhere, anybody else that has a phone in their hand and they're willing to call 866-391-1020. Don't go anywhere. I have to go to the news. I want to hear Ted's question. I want to hear from you all for the final hour here on the Mother's Day 2026 edition here on News Radio KDKA.
While you sleep, there are people you've never met who are working hard to make your morning. People who get up at ungodly hours to make sure you get the information you want. People who dedicate their lives to make yours better while you sleep. These people come together during the Big K Morning Show with Larry Richert, 5:30 to 10 in the morning, to make sure you have the best news, traffic, and weather to start your day. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for mom.
Being diagnosed with leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, or one of over 100 other types of blood cancer makes people want more time to do the things they love. That means more time to be artists, prom dates, world travelers, and moms. We are Blood Cancer United, the world's leading organization focused solely on blood cancer research, support, and advocacy. We do the most for more people with blood cancer, so people with blood cancer can do more of whatever they want. Blood Cancer United. Join us at bloodcancerunited.org.
Why would you ask a financial advisor permission to spend your own retirement money? There's something wrong with this system. Tune in for a different kind of retirement show with Greg Ayler, now at a new time, Saturdays at 5 on the Voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Looking for health insurance for employees in multiple locations? UPMC Health Plan National Access has you covered. UPMC National Access gives employees access to the top-ranked doctors and hospitals of UPMC, along with nationwide access through the Cigna Healthcare PPO network for employees outside of the service area. For the quality, affordable coverage that your company deserves, choose UPMC Health Plan.
Mommy, how come I can't sit in the front seat?
Because I love you and you're just not ready yet.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA. Covered by JP Roofing and Siding. Pittsburgh's #1 platinum roofing company. Your source for the AccuWeather forecast. Hear it on News Radio KDKA. Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Heather Bosch. President Trump says he is rejecting Iran's response to the latest U.S. ceasefire proposal. No details, but Trump posted on social media it was totally unacceptable. America's United Nations ambassador Mike Waltz is assessing the situation in Iran, telling ABC's This Week.
Their leadership has been so devastated and so fractured. We know that Mujtaba, the new Ayatollah, the previous Ayatollah's son, has been severely injured. He's in hiding. He's incredibly difficult to get a hold of.
The U.S.-Israeli war against Iran is in its 10th week. Spain says more than 90 passengers have returned to their home countries from the hantavirus-stricken cruise ship. 17 of the passengers are Americans. The BBC's Guy Hedgecoe.
The boat is actually going to refuel here tomorrow, and then the final flight, we're told, is a flight taking people to Australia, probably tomorrow evening. And after that, the boat will be fully disinfected.
President Trump's Religious Liberties Commission is about to issue its recommendations.
The commission has largely conservative evangelical and Catholic membership, and their priorities reflect that perspective. Its chairman, Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick.
The separation of church and state is the biggest lie that's been told in America since our founding.
The priorities are increased religious expression in public schools and other public settings, more public money for religious organizations, and religious-based exemptions from regulations and classroom lessons. Michael Toscano, CBS News, Washington.
Now that the U.S. Supreme Court has weakened the 1965 Voting Rights Act, states across the South may be moving to redraw congressional maps. Democratic and African-American Congressman James Clyburn tells CNN.
Why is it okay to have a 75% white district, and that's not racial? If you have a 45% black district, that is racial.
There's pushback to Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s assertion that antidepressants are overprescribed in the U.S. Former FDA Commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb tells CBS's Face the Nation.
For most Americans to take these drugs, they're very important and in some cases life-saving, and I would encourage everyone who is thinking about potentially stopping these medications based on the Secretary's comments to consult their doctor.
Kennedy has clarified people should not just stop taking their medication. This is Mother's Day. The National Retail Federation says Americans are expected to spend a record $38 billion to honor moms. Flowers remain the day's most popular gift. This is CBS News.
Every Sunday, moderator Margaret Brennan goes face-to-face with top leaders to make you better informed. Face the Nation, Sunday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Technology that can help cancer patients keep their hair is before California's legislature.
The Paramount Times Square, a generator hotel in Manhattan's Theater District, is hosting a residency with Broadway stars in the hotel's lobby every other Tuesday. Douglas Diaz oversees the program.
We gather performers from Broadway, current shows, or also retired performers, and they come and they get to sing the original songs from them.
Broadway-inspired cocktails are on the menu, including the Wicked Negroni, Old-Fashioned Times, and Espresso State of Mind. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, New York.
At the box office, The Devil Wears Prada 2 is expected to be the #1 movie in its second weekend, earning a projected $43 million domestically. I'm Heather Bosch, CBS News.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred roofing replacement contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Partly to mostly cloudy tonight, low 41. Clouds and sunshine tomorrow, high 61. Clear and cold tomorrow night, low 35. Increasingly cloudy Tuesday, high 65. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Scott Erickson at 101.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following is an editorial by KDKA Radio Regional Vice President Michael Spacciapoli.
This week, Cannon-McMillan School District announced it's reducing screen time in the classroom. Superintendent Dr. Greg Taranto tells KDKA Radio kindergarten through second grade will be Chromebook-free learning areas, pointing to new research that shows kids learn better with direct, face-to-face interaction with teachers. Dr. Taranto adds screen time is being reduced at all grade levels, and the school district is buying physical textbooks instead of digital versions. We applaud Canon Mac's decision to reduce screen time in the classroom. Kids are inundated with phones, tablets, and video games all day long, and research shows too much screen time can be detrimental to a child's development. Dr. Taranto says this isn't an elimination of its technical and computer classes, but more of what he calls a return to center, and not relying on screens for everything. We hope other local districts soon follow suit and shift their learning that best benefits the students and lets teachers teach.
This has been an editorial by KDKA Radio Regional Vice President Michael Spacciapoli. To view a transcript, go to kdkaradio.com.
All right, going back to the phone lines, Ted, you were going to ask me a question here, sir.
Yeah, well, I know it's going to be beat up Trump Day, but I will give the president a lot of credit. Your wife is a scientist, right?
Yes.
Okay. I would love to ask this question. What do you think, first time in U.S. history that a sitting president was able to release all those UFO files? Did you view them? Did you look at them?
I haven't looked at them yet. Honest, my very cynically, jaded, tilted, filtered answer to that, Ted, is I don't care because gas prices are $5 a gallon. We're in a war that's a quagmire. The cost of living's going up. We probably have political corruption unlike what we have seen over the last 30 to 50 years. And the country is becoming ever more divided. This is another way to kind of keep people distracted from issues that really need to be resolved that I don't think he knows how to resolve. That's my answer.
You know what? That's exactly what a lot of people said, but there's one scientist I give him a lot of credit. He said, look, you can look at it like that, and I agree with him. He said, but if you're a human being on this earth, you should be concerned. For one, every single president, regardless of their Democrat or Republican, was pretty much lying to the people.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that, definitely.
Okay. I mean, pretty much NASA's full of it. And to me, it just shows how people are jaded because you can't trust your government. And you can't even trust any administration, and I give Trump a lot of credit, because he's opened up a lot of stuff that should have been opened up a long time ago.
And here's the big old asterisk, Ted. If what he's giving you now is valid, because let's just be honest, if there's ever been a word salady president in the Oval Office, it's Mr. Covfefe at 2:30 in the morning with Twitter and Truth Social going abuzz at 3:34 doing foreign policy by way of tweet. I mean, we just crossed another red line from Friday where we hope they have a deal. They don't have a deal. They're going to acquiesce in 24 hours. The Strait of Hormuz is going to open up. Open it up, you MFing, or he didn't say MFing, but he did say effing B words. I mean, all this stuff has gone on, too, where we were told these things were going to happen. Hey, Liberation Day is going to bring manufacturing jobs back to the United States. It hasn't. It's going to bring all these jobs here. It hasn't. The economy is in a golden era of America. It isn't. So, I mean, is what he just did also, like, part of that? Or is he opening up something that's 100% valid? The truth of the matter is, you mentioned yourself, Ted, it's hard to trust your government now. Really, it's been hard to trust your government since Vietnam, let alone...
longer than that.
Well, definitely Vietnam.
Longer than that.
Well, I mean, if you go back with even these FBI files, you could start going back to the late 40s, early 50s. You've had our government kind of both being involved with other foreign affairs that they said they weren't, but you find out they were, looking at you, Iran, all the way through to what we were told about the Vietnam War, what we were told about the Civil Rights Movement. We were equality for everybody. Keep an eye on that MLK dude, by the way, if you can. Keep tabs on him. All the way through to what happened with Nixon, and then through the 70s, 80s, Iran-Contra, and the like. So plenty of reasons not to trust your government. And then, no offense, but, 45, 47 said, hold my beer. Let me show you how to sow division and mistrust. And he's been doing a darn good job of it.
Well, I will say this. You think Democrats, when it comes to foreign policy, are American first versus Trump?
Yeah, but it's... Yeah, you would. You would.
Okay. A lot of Democrats don't even pick that up. Yeah, they are American first when it comes to their foreign policy.
Because I think that, for example, people like Chris DeLuzio is trying to grab that mantle. People don't realize, and I said this on the Big K Morning Show. I'll be back on tomorrow morning, by the way, 8 a.m. But I said this last Monday. When you see Connor Lamb on XM radio, it's not a coincidence, everybody. And when you see Chris DeLuzio on CNN, it's not a coincidence, everybody. They're trying to pick up that mantle, one, because the mantle is there to be picked up, to your point, Ted. But number two, we all know why. We all know why they're trying to pick up that mantle now. So.
Oh, without doubt. But a lot of people don't even pick that, don't pick it up. Yeah, Democrats right now, when it comes to foreign policy, yeah, they're American first.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling. And to that point, it makes you wonder, where are the MAGA people? I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene? And this is what people don't realize. When you try to revert away from being like a MAGA mama, the middle doesn't believe you anymore. Because you're like, where were you? We saw all these signs and, works, including golden calves. Golden statues. For years. Where were you? Now, because you didn't get your way or you felt like the bus ran you over, now you see the light? Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, MAGA Mama. That's where the independent vote really is. That's where the center right and center left are when it comes to looking at some of the defections you're seeing from the MAGA movement. 866-391-1020, 866-391-1020. Going to Craig in West Virginia. Happy Mother's Day to the women in your family. You're on KDKA.
Thank you very much, Lenny. Back at you.
Thank you.
I wasn't going to talk about the UFO files, but since Ted brought it up real quick, I don't know if you saw this online, and everything online is
Ted, since the UFO files were mentioned, you have 30 seconds to reply.
All right. I heard that Donald Trump's in there, and he was sleeping with underage aliens, and they redacted.
Oh, my gosh. I didn't open up that door for you to walk through it that way. Continue on.
A month ago, I told you there were going to be elections canceled, and you kind of laughed at me and said it wasn't going to happen. What happened in Louisiana?
You said the midterms. Now, I do think, to your point, I think it's highly troubling that they are pausing the midterms in Louisiana based on what happened with the court case hearing. And before anybody says, well, you had to because, no, you don't have to because we had a freaking civil war and we didn't pause elections. So you don't have to pause elections. The bottom line is you want to make sure you get the maps that you want to get in order to run the election you want to win. And this goes back to, again, the whole issue with gerrymandering overall. I say, and I've said this, I said it on Monday, I say it again. If you can't draw a map because of racial considerations, you're making the case that you can't draw it for any special interest group consideration. Well, political parties, partisanship, those are special interest groups. If you can't draw it for racial designations and having equal representation, you can't draw it on partisanship either. So you have to have something that gets rid of gerrymandering. And as long as people want to preserve a crooked system, it's no wonder that we're going to be going askew.
And even a week later, I told you that what we are looking at with MAGA is a theocracy and not an autocracy. And since then, we have seen Donald Trump have a battle with the Pope, and we have watched MAGA follow behind him like the Pied Piper. At some point, you're going to have to say, wow, Craig got his finger on the pulse. Now, except for this. In autocracies, including North Korea, even though that's a dictatorship, Turkey, etc., they want people to support them. They want them to be not deified in a sense of following and not questioned, but not deified in the way that they're trying to make them worship them and purify their soul as a result of worshiping him. That's the difference between a theocracy and an autocracy. I would still say this is very much acting autocratic, not theocratic. Theocratic is more what you see in Iran, where there's a religious following, where there's a religion to practice. This is a secular way of life by way of voting, not a spiritual/religious way of life to follow. Those Saudis flew those jets into the World Trade Center thinking they were going to go to heaven. When January 6th happened, it was a 60-minute interview. There was interview after interview of the parents going into the children's bedrooms the night before saying, I might not come back home. They were willing to give their life for Donald J. Trump.
That's not the same. If people were willing to give their lives during the American Revolution, doesn't mean they were worshiping George Washington. That's a bad analogy. It's not the same. I will give you the autocratic. Theocratic is still different in regards to that. And you can't necessarily compare people that were religious zealots, and they were religious zealots, to people that are secularly following after a movement from a political standpoint. They still identify with Christianity, even though they are following behind this very non-democratic way of living the American political system out.
Here's why I called in. I don't back Dave from San Francisco very often, but I want to ask you something. You talk about how both far left and far right is what's happening with these elections. If that is the case, and let me just regress for a second. What did the Democrat Party candidates have in common in 16 and 24? What did they have in common?
You tell me. What do you think they had in common?
They were both women. Joe Biden won 4 of the 7 swing states in the primary. 4 of the 7.
But
he won Pennsylvania.
Part of it is they were women, but let's just be honest. Hillary Clinton had she came with a lot of baggage coming into that race. And then Kamala Harris had 107 days. So that's part of it, too. Part of it, I do think, was misogyny. Part of it was, as well, the timing. Part of it was Hillary Clinton. She wouldn't campaign behind the blue wall. She called independent voters that felt disillusioned for the past 10 years a basket of deplorables. You can't do that. You can't have the stumbles that she had literally stumbled on 9/11. And you can't have a story floating out of there telling the president of the United States, the first African-American president who beat you in an election, call off your effing dogs, Barack. That's in a book. You can't do all those things and then, by the way, ignore the advice of your husband, who was a 2-term president, and then think you're going to win. So that was part of it, too.
I'll give you that part of it, but at that point, America really didn't know who Donald Trump was. Let's go to 2024, where America knew who Donald Trump was. If the Democratic Party's policies were so far left How in the world Joe Biden had nobody to run against in the primaries in Pennsylvania? Nobody. He was the only person on the ticket. Donald Trump was fighting not for his life, but he was fighting. People were picking up with Nikki Haley. People were picking up with Ron DeSantis.
They were not. They were not serious. They were not serious competitors. I know you're not making that case.
No, I'm not making that case. What
Okay.
I'm saying is that the Democratic Party didn't even have to go out and vote. Only if one Pennsylvanian would have voted, he would have still been the Democratic person. He won by 128,000 votes in Pennsylvania. If he stays in office, I don't care if you're wheeling out in a wheelchair. He is the president today.
He doesn't win. He would not have won. He would not have won. After that debate, Craig, he does not win, which is why he got out of the race. After that debate, he does not win if he stays in the race. In fact, the election might have been worse.
No way. No way, Lenny. Lenny, if our policies were listen, but let's what I'm debating is
I said their policies, and I'm going to say this before I let you go because I got to go to break. The bottom line is what was the most effective negative campaign ad that they used against Kamala Harris? That painted that yes, you know what it was. It was a transgender commercial that they cut up of her own words. That was the one that moved the middle, the independent voter. Those were the ones that said they didn't know who they were going to vote for, and then on election day voted for Trump. And they did the research. And I appreciate your call. They did the research and showed that that was the most effective ad. Now, am I saying it should have been the most effective ad? No. Am I saying that was the most important issue on the campaign trail? No. But it was the one that moved people the most. Fortunately or unfortunately, based on your point of view. That's what I mean. She didn't need to even cut that commercial for the 2019-2020 cycle. But she did because she was trying to run to the left of Joe Biden and trying to run to the left of Cory Booker and trying to run to the left of other people she was competing against, including Bernie Sanders. She was trying to run to the left of Bernie Sanders, a Democratic socialist. That's hard to do. That's what she did. Those are the things that have caused the Democrats to lose grip of the middle, which, by the way, they did. They did by 2010. They did by 2014. They certainly did by 2016. The same party that was making wins with a black dude with a Muslim name. His last name was Obama. His middle name is Hussein. They still won the center left and the center. That's all I was saying. 866-391-1020. George, Dan, Bishop, I'll get to you after the break on News Radio KDKA.
Your source for the AccuWeather forecast. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
Hi, Paul Alexander here to let you know that KDKA has planned a fabulous 5-day Arizona getaway this September, and it's filling up fast. My wife, Shelley, and I want you to join us for an unforgettable trip based in beautiful Flagstaff, a relaxed mountain town that makes the perfect home base. From there, we'll explore the incredible red rocks of Sedona, travel by rail to the breathtaking Grand Canyon, a bucket list spot that everyone needs to see at least once. And then we'll take in the stunning scenery around Lake Powell with its deep blue water and wide open views. It's the perfect mix of sightseeing, natural beauty, and plenty of time to just enjoy where we are. And September is truly the sweet spot. Comfortable weather, no summer crowds, and everything planned for you. No guessing, no stress. Just show up and enjoy Arizona. Space is limited. Seats are disappearing quickly. Visit travelwithkdk.com or call 800-383-3131. Again, travel with KDK.com or call 800-383-3131. Can't wait to see you there.
Crowded waiting rooms, 5 rushed minutes with the doctor. No real answers, just solutions that mask symptoms. For so many, that's what healthcare has become. In and out, no time, no connection. Just another appointment on the schedule. At Pittsburgh Sinus Centers, it's different. They take the time to listen, explain, and design a plan built around you. Because real relief starts with understanding what's really going on, not just treating the surface. From allergy testing to in-office sinus and nasal procedures, their experienced team uses the latest technology and a personal touch to help you breathe, sleep, and live better. Here, you're not just another number. You're the reason they do what they do. Discover a better way to feel better, one that's built around you. Pittsburgh Sinus Centers. Schedule a consultation today. Call Pittsburgh Sinus Centers, 878 878-231-4950. 878-231-4950. That's 878-231-4950.
Magnificent May savings at Coons Market. Isn't that right, Frank Dentisi?
Right, Rob. In our meat department, bone-in, center-cut pork loin chops or roast are $2.99 a pound. In the produce department, all-purpose Idaho potatoes, 8-pound bags, $2.99 each. In our deli, lower sodium Silver Star boneless hams are $7.99 a pound. And additional savings this week, selected varieties of Pepsi or Mountain Dew, 12-pack, 12-ounce cans, $6.99 each.
At Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
When it comes to surgery, trust matters. At Independence Health System, our award-winning surgeons use advanced techniques and technology to deliver safe, precise, and personalized care. We offer minimally invasive options for faster recovery, smaller incisions, and less risk. From hernia repair to bariatric surgery, our skilled team is here for you every step of the way. Learn more at independence.health. Independence Health System. Expert care here.
The KDKA radio text line is driven by Kenny Ross Auto Group. Find your best deal and Pittsburgh's best warranty at kennyross.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
Hear about it, then talk about it. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, jumping back to the phone lines. George and Clarendon, you're on KDK. Happy Mother's Day to you and
Johnny,
yours.
happy Mother's Day, my man. As Johnny Guitar Watson would say, that's a real mother for you.
What's on your mind?
Give you a little pop culture. You know, I used to have these conversations with my man Chris, and I hope he listens from time to time, but I sure as I think of him, especially on these fall pre-election moods I get in, and I really don't think it's going to matter who I vote for. I've said this before. I have my, not absentee, but my mail-in ballot in my visor in my car, which I've had now probably for 2 weeks. And I know they go through a lot of work getting those together and counted and a whole bit. But there stands, I say it again, and I think I'm going to act this way, a chance of me not voting, because I really don't think it's going to matter. Because I really think we are so far gone. I think a civil insurrection, I sound like Judge Keenan from the 80s, the judge who cares, that a civil insurrection is the court order. And it's the only thing that's going to bring this country back, if it does.
You don't think this country's coming back from this?
No, I do not. I don't.
So what do you think
I've said this for quite some time.
What do you think the United States ends up becoming then?
We are. Okay, I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. We're going to have a lot of unrest. I mean, Ted even said this morning, early morning. We're going to have unrest. It's going to lead to civil insurrection once again. It's going to lead to the right trying to think they're going to put things down with the police naturally. Okay, they're going to put things down. It's going to see the Democrats, which I am a part of right now anyways, very splintered. And there's going to be that chaos. And then our foes, which we have, and we know who they are again, which I kind of like better than not knowing who our foes are. But there's more out there that we don't know, even within. They're just going to scoop up. And there we go. We're going to be balkanized. Balkanized and balkanized. And that's what we're going to be. And all this other BS about how great we're doing and how some of these talk show guys like to get lost in their own slop. It's going to come. We're going to pay dirt. It's going to come to paying dirt. That's why I refer to this as the bicentennial plus 50. It's not going to be a big celebration of 250 years or 275 or 300. I honestly believe that. And I've listened to everyone today, especially on your show, great arguments, conversations. You know, I say arguments in like a legal sense. Very good, very intellectual. This is exactly, I'm a hardliner with this, and I honestly believe this, and I've believed this for quite some time. When you were on, and Paul, I can't think of his name right now, from Stan originally, when you guys did a 4th of July show going on 2 years ago, not quite 2 years, I said it to both of you guys that day, and it has not gotten any better. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if someone brings up UFO files, please. I don't care if we talk about the draft, please. That's all, as my dad would say, window dressing.
So, George, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this to you, and then I'm going to go to break. It is now one of my life's missions over the next 10 years of my life to have a coffee with you one day where hold on, where you tell me, Lenny, I'm so glad that I was wrong. And I hope that I have something to do with making you wrong about this, that I have something to do with this country getting back on track, whether it's these communities, this state, or this country, whether it's with my book, my public speaking, or anything else, that you and I promise you in 10 years or less, you and I will have a coffee and you will say, Lenny, I'm so glad that I was wrong. Is that a fair, is that a fair date?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Is that a fair date?
Oh, yeah, I could see you saying that. I could see you saying that because we discussed this back in November. And just don't slip any hemlock on me because
no,
we Greeks are kind of allergic to hemlock.
I will not do that, kind sir. I got to go to break, but we got a coffee date. Coming back after the news on News Radio KDKA.
Did you know that Lachina Drapery and Blind Factory has their own factory, fabric warehouse, and showroom right here in Pittsburgh? Lachina doesn't just sell their beautiful custom products, they make them. From exquisite fabrics to custom draperies to blinds, shades, shutters, and upholstery, you get Lachina's expertise from start to finish. Visit Lachina's showrooms in Dormont and Wexford. Call 412-665-4900 to book a free Lachina shop-at-home visit or book online at lachinadrapery.com.
Hearing the news every day is one thing. Hearing it hit home is something altogether different. That's the difference you hear every day on KDKA Radio. We go beyond the benign headlines and bring the news to life, your life. So stay here and hear the news and what a difference it makes. 100.1 FM and AM 1020, KDKA.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
CBS News Brief. A stated goal of the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran is to cripple Iran's nuclear program. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu tells CBS's 60 Minutes enriched uranium must be removed from Iran.
President Trump has said to me, I want to go in there. And I think it can be done physically. That's not the problem. If you have an agreement and you go in and you take it out, why not? That's the best way.
People from a hantavirus-infected cruise ship are heading home. CBS's Remy Inocencio.
In total, there are about 150 or so passengers and crew from across roughly 24 countries. Passengers from Australia will have to stay one more night on the Hondius because of a delay in their plane.
Democrats are eyeing victory in the midterm elections. Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu tells CBS.
Democrats, when we get control, we're going to reverse the massive Medicaid cuts, the Medicare cuts, and the cuts of ACA that Trump and Republicans put in last year.
CBS News Brief, I'm Heather Bosch.
Pittsburgh, we've got a problem. Home care is in crisis and there aren't enough caregivers to meet the demand. So if you've got a loved one with Medicaid and needs care, don't wait. Freedom Care was built for this moment. We help you get care at home from someone you already trust, a family member or friend who can get paid to help with everyday needs like meals, medication, bathing, and mobility. If you have Medicaid, it's 100% free to you. No waiting lists, just real care from your people right now. Freedom Care handles it all, training, payroll, and support, so you can stay safe and comfortable at home, and your caregiver gets paid after every shift guaranteed. With 97% satisfaction and over 150 million hours of care delivered, Pittsburgh families are already making the switch to care at home. Take care of your own and get paid with Freedom Care. Call 412-844-5990. That's 412-844-5990. Call now, 412-844-5990. 412-844-5990.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
This Nurses Week, May 6th to the 12th, and National Hospital Week, May 10th to the 16th, we celebrate the incredible dedication of the team at Independence Health System. Around the clock, nurses and hospital employees bring skill, compassion, and resilience to every patient and family they serve, making our communities stronger. To every nurse, technician, caregiver, and support staff member working behind the scenes, thank you for your commitment, sacrifice, and humanity. We're grateful for you today and every day. Happy Nurses Week and Hospital Week from Independence Health System.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
In today's fast-moving job market, staying ahead means keeping your skills sharp. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we help keep your capabilities cutting edge with our skills-based education programs designed to move your career forward. Explore more than 135 degrees and certificates in business, cybersecurity, and more. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Shell.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Becoming mostly cloudy tonight, low 41, then partly sunny and cool tomorrow, high 61. Clear and chilly tomorrow night, low 35. Increasingly cloudy Tuesday, high 65. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Kai Erickson, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, we'll be back Monday. Yes, enjoy the weekend. I'll catch you Monday, 2 to 6. Can't wait to talk. Colin Dunlap, KDKA.
Again, I will be here tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., the Big K Morning Show, 5:30 to 10. Larry will be here. However, I will be here 8 to 9, as I always am. Looking forward to talking to him, talking to you all on your way to work. In the meanwhile, 866-391-1020. Jumping back into these phone lines, Bishop and Denora, happy Mother's Day to you and yours. You're on KDK.
Well, good. Happy Mother's Day to your family, and congratulations on one of your kids or so graduating.
It was my wife that graduated, not my kids.
Oh, your wife. Okay, well, she looks young. Number one is, Lenny, are you going to go on a book tour?
Yep.
Well, I hope that you consider my friend down in Portsmouth, Virginia, who is the owner and proprietor of Printed Word Bookstore in Portsmouth, Virginia.
Send me a message. I definitely would do it. We're going big and small. I will give you all an announcement. I'll break some news here now that I'll have to repeat because it's Mother's Day and no one's going to remember it, later on in the future. But I will be doing a book event with the Reagan Foundation, and we have another big possible presidential library in the works as well. But I will be doing it with the Reagan Library/Foundation on August 12th, talking about my book, A Venn Diagram of One: An American Story. So, yes, we are doing both that, but also bookstores.
All right, well, hopefully
Bishop, you there? You broke up. Say it again. Hopefully. Bishop, you there?
Can you hear me?
Now I can very quickly. Go ahead, go.
I'm going through a zone here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead. I got to let you go. Sorry about that. Did not want to do that, but I had to do that. But yes, I will, Bishop, call back, leave your information with Mike or hit me up. We're going to bookstores. We're going to cities. We're going to campuses. I just confirmed for Penn State University in September. I will be speaking there as well. University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill will be speaking there as well. I'd like to think I'll go to Davidson, but we'll know. Who knows? We'll see. 866-391-1020, but yes, doing a book tour. Dan in Mount Pleasant, you're on KDKA.
Hey, Lenny, how you doing?
I'm doing well, child of God. Happy Mother's Day to the lovely women in your family.
Yeah, you too. I enjoyed your interview with your wife. That was very good. I really appreciated that.
Thank you, kind sir.
Lenny,
Appreciate that.
I want to go on that list, too, for the coffee date. Would you be telling me, Dan, I appreciate how right you are? Would that be the conversation in our coffee date, or would it be something else?
Listen, I tell you what. If everything that Donald Trump is trying to do ends up playing out to be correct and America's in a better place 5 years from now, I will buy you coffee as well. I'd rather be wrong and the country be better off than sit there and say I just want to be right and just let it all burn down. So no. I want success for people. So yeah, if that happens, I'll have it too.
I was hoping we could talk about my favorite president, George Washington, and the Whiskey Rebellion. But, we'll save that for another day.
Well, you'll be the one drinking the whiskey. I won't be. I will be the one that won't be drinking the whiskey. So, sure, if you want to do that, I can do that too.
I want to go back to the call, Lenny, where the caller claimed to be a 1776
conservative. That's Dan. That's Dave. Go ahead.
And if I understand, he said he's a descendant of one of the signers of the Declaration, and he's a 1776er. Here's my question, Lenny. Which of the 56 signers do you think would support a bankrupt Ponzi scheme known as Social Security? I say none of them. Which one do you think would have supported
No, they would have. The whole construct, I mean, let's just be real, Dan. The whole construct of social welfare and a social safety net would have been foreign to them. They'd have been like, listen, I just literally cut down, 200 trees over the course of the last XYZ amount of weeks in order to build my house. And you're telling me that the government should have paid for that? They would have, they probably would have had a problem with homesteading 100 years later. What do you mean you're giving away free land to people?
May I read 1.5 sentences from the Declaration to make my point?
You can.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the government. That first 3 words are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It doesn't talk about a guarantee.
Dan, do you know how many times I have given speeches where I have quoted that, and I have told kids as young as 15 and 16 years old and people as old as in their 80s that is not a guarantee. It is a pursuit. Now, to be able to pursue happiness is one thing. It is not a guarantee of happiness. It's not a guarantee of equal outcomes and everything else. But America's about the opportunity to have that pursuit and make sure that the rules stay consistent as you're pursuing it. You and I are on the same page with that. It is something I've said in speeches for 20 years.
And Lenny, that interview with your wife this morning is a perfect example of that. The hardship that you and your wife and her, what she said, what she went through, that's what they're talking about. Nobody said it was going to be easy, and she busted her butt and got that degree. You guys, as a married couple who I admire, you people worked as a husband and wife and a family. You guys worked butts off to get that. That's yours. I have no right to come and take the fruits of your labor,
Dan,
to benefit me. We're on the same page. I know. I'm just making a point.
No, and I got other callers. The only reason why I'm letting go, we're on the same page with that. And that's why my story has that subtitle, An American Story, attached to it. Because it talks about, look, the hardships we had to go through to get some of those accomplishments. And by the way, in the book, it does not make me out to be a hero or perfect. It literally talks about, the chapter about my dad talks about, when my dad got shot, I was a dropout. I wasn't living up to my potential. Other people had called me out on not living up to my potential. As a college athlete, I had let my body go. I had let my diet go. I was not where I needed to be. Sometimes, in that pursuit of happiness, you need to acknowledge where you are so you can get back on that pursuit. That is also not a guarantee, but that if you have security, empowerment, and opportunity, you can do those things in America. You can achieve in America if you allow yourself to be able to be honest with yourself on that pursuit. Dan, when I have more time, call back. It's just I got phone lines lined up and I got to get through them because I want to be fair to everybody. Anthony in Oakland, happy Mother's Day to the women in your family. You're on KDKA.
Yeah, same to you, young man. Hey, what's your opinion, your own personal opinion of Clarence Thomas?
I think that he looks at the world through a pure, sterile, conservative viewpoint as a constitutionalist when part of the obligation on the Supreme Court is to also understand the contextualization of modern American culture, and he just refuses to do that and oftentimes sidesteps race as a result in a way that is very, very dichotomous because he will tell you that he got to where he was because of where he came from as an African American and then tell you that, well, race doesn't matter anymore.
Well, yeah, and he would be he is a disingenuous human being because I've heard him on 60 Minutes and other places talk about what happened with his grandfather and parents during segregation and Jim Crow.
And that's the point of being on the Supreme Court and not contextualizing where the culture is by saying, I'm just going to view it as a purely academic exercise, which, by the way, you know, the whole thing that the far right doesn't like is the muckety-mucks in the ivory towers and academia that looks at things sterilely and doesn't contextualize things, but yet that's what they want the Supreme Court to do when it favors them from a constitutional standpoint. That's not what this was. If that were the case, you'd have never had Brown versus Board. You'd have never had desegregation because you could have always found a legal argument to keep segregated, which is what the courts had done from the 1800s to 1954.
Well, see, what the old black revolutionary like myself see a man like him, he hates being black. He will do everything he can to ingratiate himself to white people.
So can I jump in with this because you reminded me of a statement that somebody said to me 20 years ago in Chicago. It was from the Nation of Islam that said there were two black conservatives on the black talk show radio show. One hated his people, and one is that hip-hop Republican that I don't agree with all the time, but you can tell he loves all people, including black people. The other one doesn't seem to like black people at all. And when you said that, that's what sparked in my mind. So keep going,
Well,
please.
That's what he does. And he's using his position for whatever. I don't know if he was rejected by black women. I don't know what his issue is, but he looks clownish. And it's shameful because listen, no one asked him to always side with black folk. But when you sit a part of a clique who's doing everything they can to dismantle the Civil Rights Act because of what his grandfather and father went through, is despicable. He is a disgusting, despicable human being who has no redeeming quality. And it's shameful because he didn't have to live like that. But there are some people who just love white folks that much that they'll turn their back on anything that pertains to race.
One, he's a child of God, so he has some redeeming quality. Number two, I think it's less about loving, quote-unquote, loving white folks so much. I think it's more along the lines of really grasping onto the belief that, well, I made it as an African-American despite what I went through. Racism really doesn't matter. Listen, Jason Riley wrote an article in the Wall Street Journal that I'm certain that people are going to throw in my face over the next couple of weeks, where Jason Riley says, thank goodness they threw out the whole racial gerrymandering thing because the election of Barack Obama proved that white people will vote for black people. And it's
he hates.
Well, hold on. I know where you were going to go with that.
But they're the Boxy twins.
But my point is this: by making that one singular argument and ignoring the resegregation of public schools, ignoring the double unemployment rate between blacks and whites, ignoring how the Trump administration went after DEI the moment they got back into office in 2025, ignoring the spike in racial and anti-Semitic incidences around the United States of America over recent years, ignoring Charlottesville, ignoring the campaign rhetoric that we heard in 2024, ignoring all of that just because you got Byron Donalds and Wesley Hunt out there. And Wesley Hunt was another one that went out there on the steps of Capitol Hill and said, what difference does it make if you don't have any more black districts? I'm here because of my qualifications. You're not standing on the shoulders as a black congressman because of your qualifications. You're standing on the shoulders of people that busted down doors for you, which is why people, as a black conservative and black Republican, people can never understand why I would give Jesse Jackson and other civil rights activists that may be Democrats their due, because the bottom line is desegregation happened because of their efforts, which allowed me to be able to have more choices.
Well, listen, they already showed the young man from Texas, right? He ran, would he come in fourth?
And for the U.S. Senate.
Senator?
Yep.
Right. He's still talking that nonsense. Hey, you are Mr. Qualified. You had an old geezer who should be on his way out, and you got a crazy revolutionary, who
was under investigation. Who was under investigation at one point in time. To your point, Anthony, and I appreciate your call, there was a lane that he could have run in and gain more momentum. But I don't know Wesley Hunt. Some of these folks I do know. Some of these folks I have worked with. He ain't one of them. But listen, I will say this before I get the dick and before I go. Those of you that have known me for anywhere from my part 2 on KDKA to my congressional run, to my speeches, to my television show, to my CNN hits, I've been doing this for 20 years. The book, A Venn Diagram of One, my website, my speeches with their transcripts, everyone. I am consistent. I am not chasing trends. I want what's best for Americans, and I'm willing to stand up for it. That's all people want from everyday Americans, much less African Americans that may happen to be Republican or conservative. And for many of those folks, I put that in air quotes because they wear the title, they don't live the life. I have lived the life even when it's been uncomfortable. That's all people want. Now, it's really up to you all. You all say you need those type of individuals in office. I haven't seen you vote for those type of individuals. People are still making a poo-poo out of people in this state and elsewhere that flip-flop all the time. Then you say you want people with substance. There are some of you that said that, Donald Trump was that person of substance. That hasn't played out very well. I mean, we saw Senator to President Barack Obama say everything from, I guess, those shovel-ready jobs weren't as shovel-ready as I thought, to he was for traditional marriage until he was like, oh, maybe not. I evolved on the issue. All people want, particularly when it comes to issues of race, is some consistency on what's out there and a genuine pursuit of equality for all. Dick and Dayton, happy Mother's Day to you and yours and your family. You're on KDKA.
What a great show you have today, Lenny. I've been listening. It's great you're talking about this, but I wanted to share something with you. One of my friends, Dave, we go down to it's about an hour. We had a good experience yesterday. We went down to Warsaw there, and we saw we just stepped there and talked to the engineers, the locks and dams, where the Ohio River, they're very, very, they told us that they need repaired. The concrete where the barge is, you got 3 toots. But I've never seen, Lenny, anything as pretty as that river. And, you see history, and the boats go by there, and it was really neat. What is your opinion about that? Well, I know they were talking about 26. Do we need to repair the infrastructure on the bridges and the, say the dams where the barges go through?
Dick, I appreciate your phone call. The answer is yes. America needs a makeover with its infrastructure, from bridges to locks to our transportation throughways. That is something we need to be focusing on more than we have been. So yes, there's beauty there. There's power there, though. There's economic power there. There's connectivity. There's a commonality that allows us to be the biggest and the best and the brightest and ideally one day again most inspirational country on the face of the earth. So yes, we do. And I always appreciate your call. I appreciate everybody's call. I'm getting out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Mother's Day. I have been thrilled to be able to share my wife's inspirational story on the air with you all and understand that the things that I talk about, if nothing else, that interview with her should indicate to you all is all this stuff that I say on the airwaves about how we need to be as a people. We live in our lives. We try to be those examples. We try to be those forces of good in the country. We can all do this together. And I know that George and others feel like this country is spiraling down the drain. We've seen it before. We can come back again. We just need to do it together. In the meanwhile, I will be together with Larry Richert at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning here on this wonderful station. In the meanwhile, I love you all genuinely. Have a fantastic rest of your Mother's Day. I'll talk to you in about 12 plus hours. TCNGB. Take care and God bless. Peace.
When you need to know, depend on the news leader. At home, in your car, or at work. The voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM, AM 1020, and KDKARadio.com. Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
Toward the Park is Saturday, May 16th at South Park Museum Building and Fairgrounds. It's a family-friendly event that supports the Allegheny County Parks Foundation and its mission to improve, conserve, and restore the 9 Allegheny County parks. General admission and VIP tickets available. VIP includes early entry and food samples.